Mic check. Mic is good. What's good, family? Welcome to my channel. I am Chiefdryno. If you're new, please subscribe. Welcome back to all my subscribers. I really appreciate all of you. It's going to be a very interesting stream tonight. Before I proceed, I would like to share the stream with my group. Okay, just to have a few more people in here. Let's see who's already in here. I'll do a mic check as well once I'm at it. Let's see who's on. All right, sound is good. Nobody's here at the moment. Let's see. So I will go ahead and share the stream. Okay. Welcome to the stream. I see one person is joining. Please let us know who you are. If you're new, please subscribe. By all means, share the stream. Invite your friends to come in and let us talk. Okay, it's Africa Moment. All right, it's Africa Moment. Yeah, a whole lot has been happening on the continent. Every day is like, a new chapter. Things are happening rapidly, on the continent as time progresses. And yeah, indeed, 2019 is a year of great transformation on the continent. Right. I'm just gonna share the stream with my WhatsApp group, my African YouTubers group, and invite them to come join us. All right, we're gonna talk about chaotic storm. Thanks for joining the stream, family. It's a very heated topic tonight. I intend not to stay for too long. Yeah, but some people have complained my videos are too long, but this is education. This is really great for you. If you're really keen, okay, you stay and watch all 4 hours of the stream. Plus, YouTube has functions where you can watch the video in variable speed. So yeah, on time. I was late, family. Sorry about that. I was trying to figure out the Hangout. Every now and then they keep coming up with policy changes and stuff. So it just disrupted my my time a bit. But yeah, I always endeavor to come on time. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and share this with the group. Let's go, family. Okay. Please. Yeah, so yeah. All right. So yeah, Chiefdryno's live. Let's see. So yeah, tonight's topic is gonna be gay tour groups. Okay, gay tour group. Okay, Angus Ethiopians, and as a matter of fact, this is gonna send a shockwave throughout Africa, and I'm pretty sure everyone is gonna be upset about it as well. These people have been pushing, their limits to see how far they can go. They've been always trying to, put Africa in the spot, and Africa is not budging in terms of these homosexual, interests. Okay, being pushed to Africa, you know, the agenda of pushing homosexuality to Africa. You know, Africa is always the last frontier when it comes to changes in the world. Okay, everywhere else has developed. Okay, and Africa is the last, you know, frontier when it comes to development. And the Western countries are eager in pushing the agenda forward. You know, you can break Africa, but you can't break the spirit of Africans. Okay, Africans know themselves. Okay, you can break the African, but you cannot break the spirit of the African. Okay, homosexuality is frowned upon. Okay, length and breadth of the entire continent of Africa. Okay, it's not taken lightly at all. The issue of homosexuality is not taken lightly at all. A lot of people get very, very offended. Okay, saying that, okay, gays are not hated. Okay, nobody hate gays. Nobody hates gay people. If you are effeminate, or you side with your feminine side more than your masculine side, nobody's gonna hate you for it. But if you try to push your agenda, okay, to an African, you know, population, okay, on the continent, all right, it will not be a happy story for you, or it will not be a happy ending for you. So yeah, I came across this article, you know, and yeah, it's not a very happy one. Okay, chaotic storm. Oh, you on time? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're the one on time. Yeah, homosexuality is a national security threat. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's the only thing the African holds dear to him. If you want to break the African, you can, but you cannot take away the African sexuality like that. You know, when they, you know, basically when they remove the African man, okay, Africa is left defenseless. All right. The only thing standing in the way of you know the powers against the rise of Africa, you know, is the masculinity in Africa, you know, the masculine energy, okay, the energy of balance, okay, in Africa, that's holding things down at the moment. And if they push the agenda of feminism and homosexuality and the downgrading of the roles of the man in the society, especially the African society, okay, that's a collapse of the African society. That's a collapse of who the African actually is. Okay, the African being the first human on the planet. Okay, the original human being on the planet. Nobody has a right. Nobody has a right to push the agenda to the original man on the planet. You will fail. Okay, you will fail, and Africa is the only final frontier. Okay, pushing against the Western propaganda, Western government's propaganda to weaken Africa, to degrade Africa, and steal and rape it of everything that Africa's got. And homosexuality is one thing that's not going to fly. Okay, it's you know, embedded in the spirit of the African to remain true as the original human being on the planet. Okay, the African only regards a man as a man and a woman as a woman, and regards the union between a man and a woman as ordained by the Almighty Creator. Okay, I don't care what you believe in. Okay, I don't care what you believe in. I'm a man of science and principles. Okay, you cannot have humanity without those two principles. Okay, the masculine and the feminine. Okay, two together form life, and the everyday African believes, okay, in the continuation of life, and you cannot have continuation of life if you keep on promoting homosexuality to the African. Okay, and the African is not going to have that. Okay, the African is not going to have that. A few years ago, or a couple of years ago, I think, or last year, the BBC interviewed Uhuru Kenyatta and tried to push the gay agenda. Okay, Obama tried it as well. Okay, it's homosexuality is illegal. Okay, if you don't know this by now, okay, homosexuality is illegal across the board. Gays are not hated, okay, but homosexuality is illegal. All right, so that being said, I will go ahead and share my screen and present to you the articles which I am going to read and dissect. Okay, and if you have any comments or if you have any contributions, by all means, drop them. All right, so right. So yeah, chaotic storm. Okay, this is becoming a problem. This gay thing. This is not the first time they've tried it. Okay, they've tried it through Obama himself. Okay, they've tried it through many means. Okay, so many means. But this one here is like pushing it too far, right? You do not go to Saudi Arabia and tell them to accept gays. You do not do that. Okay, so Saudi Arabia, some parts of Saudi Arabia, you can't even enter if you're not Muslim. Okay, so these people have no respect for Africa. Okay, they have no respect for what the African stands for. Okay, and they just feel that they can tell the African what to do every time. But it's not going to happen, right? This is not going to happen. It's not going to fly lightly at all. All right, so without much ado, I'm going to go straight into the article, and we shall. Yeah, so there are actually two articles relating to this one. Periodic storm. They always wanted this. They are experimenting this in the black community in the USA. Yeah. See, people do not understand that this is politics. Okay, they distract you with what you should actually be fighting for. Okay, putting your issues, okay, and your agenda forward. Okay, but then they push this feminism, okay, to distract you African Americans, especially African Americans, from pursuing political ambitions. Okay, now all the political leaders are pushing for gay rights, feminism, and etc. But what about the drugs? What about the economic disenfranchisement? What about the poverty? Why are they not pushing those things? Why are they pushing gay rights? Okay, subjects that are not relevant. Okay, things that are not going to put food on the table for you. Okay, so I mean, this is just crazy. Okay, this is just so crazy. But anyway, they've done it so much that they've degraded the masculine energy of black men in the USA. Okay, they've relegated it to females having more power than the men in the United States. How is this possible? Okay, a man must always lead. A man must always lead. Why is this the case? The women are telling men what to do. I'm not a sexist, but I believe in the balance of things. Okay, I believe in the balance of things in the universe. Okay, we need each other. One must not be placed above the other, but it is a principle in life. Okay? The man always leads. Right. So without much ado, I'm going to present this. Okay. It's just a great sign of great sign of weakness, really. When you have a nation, okay, that women dictates how men should lead. I mean, come on. All right, so What's happening here? Okay, so I have shared my screen. Okay, I have shared the screen. So this article from VOA, Voice of Africa, I presume. Okay, on the 6th of June. Okay, today is the 7th of June here in Australia. So everywhere else outside of Australia, I think in the US would be the 6th or early morning of the 7th in Africa, in Europe. But yeah, so there was a gay tour. Okay, I'll just go straight to the article. Okay. Gay tour groups, there's controversy in Ethiopia. Article on the 6th of June 2019 by Salem Solomon. Okay. All right. So here is a church that is carved in a rock. Okay. You know, we all know Ethiopia is the origin of human beings, basically. Humans originated from Ethiopia, East Africa, the Rift Valley. Okay, this is where we came from. And if anything, okay, this is where we came from with the concept of God. Okay. Ethiopia had the first depiction of Jesus, okay, being a black man. Okay. And then taking you back, okay, thousands of years, okay, the Nile Valley civilization all sprouted out of you know, the Great Lakes region, okay, which Ethiopia is part of it. Okay. Ethiopia is the main source of the Nile River. Okay. It just makes sense that all life or human life originates from here. So when it comes to originality, okay, Ethiopia has it all. Ethiopia has it all, and everywhere else try to copy everything that came out of Africa. All right. If not, they have stolen it. Okay, stolen it, everything that's come out of Africa, right? So this is Ethiopian Orthodox pilgrims attend a prayer session at the monolithic Orthodox Church ahead of Ethiopian Christmas in Lalibela, Ethiopia. Okay, so that's a church that has been carved out of the rock. Okay. So a tour company with mainly gay clientele is facing backlash over plans to visit religious sites in Ethiopia. Chicago-based Total Tours, even the name itself is hilarious, right? Total Tours organizes sightseeing vacations around the world. It was founded in 1990, primarily catering to all male gay clientele, but has since expanded to include men and women, regardless of sexual orientation. Company owner Dan Ware said the controversy began in May when the group posted plans on social media for a tour of Ethiopia, including the ancient rock-hewn churches of Lalibela. The post included a light-hearted play on words saying, "We will rock you." Okay. In reference to the song by music group Queen. Okay. So you know, even this the lead singer of Queen, okay, forgot his name now. Oh gosh, how could I have forgotten his name? But anyway, I wouldn't try. I would try it. He was homosexual as well. So these people have an agenda. Okay, they keep pushing the agenda. Okay, at all times, right? And they don't stop at anything. Okay, they don't stop at anything. Just trying to be clever, just to have a saying. It didn't mean anything other than this experience of seeing this incredible place will change your life. We're told VOA, we are not going to do any kind of activism. Yeah, right. Bloggers response. The post was picked by Ethiopian blogger Seyam Teshome, who wrote critically about the planned trip. Before long, members of the Ethiopia's Orthodox Christian community were holding protests, where said he has been inundated with angry messages and even death threats. It's been spiraling out of control for about 10 days now, ever since May the 25th, and the blogger's post, and it has gotten worldwide attention. And this has not been by design, where said. In a protest in Addis Ababa, religious leaders said the travel would be an insult to Christianity and to Ethiopian culture. More so, okay, it would be an insult to Islam as well, because Ethiopia has a great number of Muslims as well. Okay, all religions and their followers must stand together to save this generation. We are asking the government to stop them, travelers with Toto, from visiting our historical places, and we are warning those Ethiopians who are cooperating with this evil thing, said Tugan Kesis Tage Tadele, Secretary General of Inter-Religious Council of Ethiopia. Ethiopia outlaws homosexuality. I'll take that again. Ethiopia outlaws homosexual acts which carry penalties of up to 15 years in prison. Critics say the American group would be openly defying this law. We hate homosexuality. They can't come to Ethiopia and visit Lalibela and other historical places because homosexuality is a crime. So if they come here, they will be damaged, said Darije Negash, the vice chairman of Celeste Miret United Association, an Orthodox Christian organization. So gay Ethiopians, where it pointed out it is not illegal to be gay in the country, only to act on it. He also said, despite the vitriol, he has been heartened to hear from many gay Ethiopians who encourage him to come and thanked him for standing up for gay rights. Ware has also been in touch with officials at the U.S. Embassy in Addis Ababa. He said they told him they know of no history of violence against gay foreigners traveling in the country. Ware is now weighing his options and waiting to hear from the Ethiopian government on whether they will be allowed in the country, but said he is inclined to go forward with the trip. It has been saddening, Ware said. It is not my intent to harm anyone to cause his controversy. I want it to be resolved. Here to stay, Ware added that the believes Ethiopia should come to terms with the fact that gay travelers are here to stay. In fact, he said gay people have long been traveling together and visiting the world's great sites. This fact just hasn't been advertised. Oh, really? Okay. If the people of Ethiopia think that there has never been a gay group that has come and visited the holy sites, or that there will never be one again in the future, they are mistaken, he said. We have nothing on our foreheads that says he's gay, and we blend very well. So these guys are delusional. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, it's crazy. They think they can just go into Africa and do whatever they wish. I have another article that I wanted to read relating to this. Okay. So this article is from The Guardian. LGBT tour operator faces death threats over Ethiopia trip. So the story is the government has banned them. Okay, the Ethiopian government has already placed a ban on them. They're not coming. Simple fact that they're being defiant. They've been banned. Okay, they're not going to come. Okay, now surely nothing on their forehead shows that this person is gay, this person is that and that. But the tour itself is a propaganda. Okay, to defile the sacred grounds solely because they do not have any respect, or okay, they do not respect Africans in that regard. They will treat Africans anyhow. They do not respect the laws of the countries these people go to, and it's a shame. Okay, they dare not do that in Saudi Arabia because they know the consequences, right? Okay, you will have your head chopped off. Okay, if you should push this kind of agenda in Saudi Arabia. Okay, but they know that Africans are not going to do that. Okay, and this is the threat of feminism. Okay, this is what feminism is going to do in Africa. Okay, Dynast was on a show saying that Africans that send it, especially to the United States. Okay, Africans that send their children abroad to the United States to study. Okay, they should be careful not to go home with feminist ideologies. Okay, because it's going to ruin your societies. Okay, the men are no longer going to be men. The men are no longer going to be men. Okay, they're going to behave like sissies. Okay, it is already bad as it is in Africa. Okay, but couple that with men that start behaving like women, right? Okay, how are things gonna be, right? Africa will never stand up to itself if the men start behaving like women. Okay, and they know that Africa is the last frontier. Okay, things like this will never happen or take place in Africa. All right, that will be the day the world ends. Okay, when the African man, accepts homosexuality, right? Right. It's known. It's a sin that it's a taboo. Okay, homosexuality is a taboo. Uh, you know, uh, you can be gay. Okay, there's nothing wrong tapping into your feminine side. Okay, there's nothing wrong doing that. Okay, but then when you carry out the act of homosexuality, okay, that's a crime. That's a crime on humanity. Okay, that's a crime on humanity. Be in that. Okay, be in that. It does not produce life. Okay, homosexuality doesn't produce life, and the African man only believes in life. Okay, chaotic storm. We've been taking this matter too lightly. Of course, yeah. They're pushing the boundaries. Chaotic storm. They are pushing. They're poking the bear. Okay, they're poking the bear, and eventually the bear is gonna strike. Right? Yeah. So you know, they've tried every means. Okay, part of the homosexual agenda in Africa is depopulation. Okay, they're very scared. Okay, the African population is like 60, nearly 70% youth. Okay, under 25 years old. That's the continent, the entire continent of Africa, right? It's been estimated by 2030. Okay, Africa's population will be 2 billion people. Okay, this is what the globalists are afraid of, or the Western governments are afraid of. Okay, that's what they're afraid of. Okay, so they've been pushing the depopulation agenda in Africa for a very, very long time, and they tried it with wars. Okay, instigating wars. Right from the Berlin Conference, where they decided to divide ethnic groups that do not like one another, they put them together in one country. Okay, ethnic groups that are one together, they split them in half. So you look at North Africa, you have Berbers in Morocco, Berbers in Algeria. Okay, you look at Nigeria, you have Yorubas in Nigeria, you have Yorubas in Benin. Okay, you have a look at Ghana, you have Evers in Togo, you have Evers in Ghana. Okay, you have again Ghana, you have the Ashanti, okay, or the Akan people in Ghana and the Akan people in La Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, and the Akan group in Ghana speak English. The Akan group in Cote d'Ivoire speak French. Okay, when you go down south, you look at the unrest in Cameroon. Okay, you have the Anglophone Cameroon and a Francophone Cameroon. Same people. And the Congos, same people, but they just split them up. Right? You have the Tutsis and the Hutus putting them together, and they're instigating a war between them. Right? Uh, So Eritreans and Ethiopians, right? Okay, so you know, it just takes a great deal of effort to unite, okay, or to avert the circumstances created by these Western governments. Okay, and they know that as Africans are busy amongst themselves fighting, they cannot come together for a common purpose or for a common goal. But it's going to change. Okay, this stream is not all gloom and doom. I have other positive news that I'm going to share as well in regards to the Africa and African free trade um, agreement, which has been enforced. So yeah, City, thanks for joining the stream. Hey bro. Yeah, Tigray, Amharas, and Omoros. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They put all together, and they are all in constant fight. Okay, constant, perpetual conflict. But yeah, that's why I really applaud Abiy Ahmed for what he's doing. He's a very positive, influential figure in Africa at the moment. His whole effort has been trying to unite everybody, not only in Ethiopia, but everybody in the eastern part of Africa or in East Africa and the entire continent of Africa overall, as he took the position of chairman of the African Union in 2018. He was doing exactly that. Okay, he was doing exactly that. So yeah, without much ado, again, I'll go straight to this second article. Okay, but then again, yeah, they've tried every means, okay, to depopulate the continent of Africa. Okay, they've tried the chemical warfare, they've tried the Ebolas, they've tried everything that they could test on in Africa, the HIV/AIDS. Okay, they hid the HIV/AIDS, the contaminated HIV. I mean, the polio vaccines with HIV viruses and injected so many people in Africa with it. Okay, but the African has evolved. Okay, generations later, there are people living without HIV. Okay, or that are not susceptible to the HIV virus, or that do not succumb to the HIV virus. So yeah, they just don't know what to do at the moment. So they're trying to push the gay agenda to Africa. Okay, but that's not going to happen, right? That's not going to happen. Cave Crusher, thanks for joining the stream. They tried to kill us off. Yeah, they've tried every means possible, but they cannot. You cannot do away with originality. Okay, the original man of this planet will remain. Okay, will remain. All right, just as Africa in itself as a continent has remained in its spot. Okay, all the other continents move around Africa. Okay, drift around Africa. All the tectonic plates move around Africa. Okay, Africa remains as it is, right? Right, and it will be for another million years. So things are not going to change. All right. If anything, everything is going to evolve around Africa. Africa still remains the focal point. So yeah, I'll go to the second article here. LGBT tour operator faces death threat over Ethiopia trip. Okay, so it's escalated now. Okay, it's angered a whole lot of people. Okay, in their defiance, okay, the tour operator said they're gonna go on a trip anyway, but they've been banned. Okay, as far as I know, they've been banned. If they try it, okay, they're gonna be stoned. Okay, that's a simple fact, right? They're gonna be stoned. So religious groups in Ethiopia are urging authorities to ban a trip organized by a US-based travel company that caters to gay men and lesbians. I mean, the thing is, you can say, I mean, they could quietly visit, but why must they announce it? Why must they put it on their social media platform and announce it in defiance manner? Okay. They want to show off that they can defy the laws of Ethiopia. But mind you can't do that in Saudi Arabia. You cannot do that in Saudi Arabia or Iran. Why do you think you can do that in Africa? You've tried several times. Why do you think you can do that in Africa? Right? So this article by Antonia Wilson, Thursday, the 6th of June, 2019. So it's very, very recent. Okay. Yeah, and they have failed, and they will fail again. If the gay agenda doesn't work, then they will start spraying the sun or nuclear space weapons, but they can't do that because it will have ramifications, of course, for them. Exactly. Yeah, so an LGBT tour operator has received death threats and hate messages on social media after launching a holiday to Ethiopia. Chicago-based Total Tours' 16-day trip to Ethiopia is due to take place at the end of October and includes religious sites such as the Debre Baran Selassie and Gonda Baran Selassie in Gonda and the ancient cave monasteries in the mountains of Lalibela. I mean, like the it's a monastery, okay? You've got monks there, okay? These monks are practice celibacy, okay? They don't want anything that would disrupt their practices, okay? In terms of when it comes to holiness, okay? Um, they don't want people kissing around there. They don't want people being perverted around these holy sites, okay? Um, but then you know what's up with these gay people, right? When they go there, they will start holding hands and kissing, and you know it's an eyesore for an African to see two men kissing. I mean, it just it just can't have that. Two men kissing and holding hands and kissing in the monasteries where little boys, okay, are being trained to be monks. What kind of message are you trying to send to these people, right? They have no regards for Africans, right? They have no respect. Okay. But religious groups in a country, but again, I say go do that in Saudi Arabia. Just go try it. Try and do that in Saudi Arabia. Okay. So this is why I say like Christianity has really failed. Christianity has failed the world. Like it has failed Africans. Christianity. Okay. These kind of things start out of Christianity. Okay. There's no way you can preach that Allah says that two men can marry. You can't do that in Islam, but only in Christianity gays can go to heaven as well. Okay, this just calls bullshit on religion. This calls bullshit on religion to start with. Okay, Christianity has been ruined, like the European perversion of Christianity. Okay, the original Christianity coming out of Ethiopia. Okay, that's what it is, not the European Christianity. Okay, that's corrupt now. You have gays in the church, pastors marrying off gay lesbians. I mean, God has no place in the church today. God has no place in the church today. So I'm surprised that Africa has about 60% Muslims and only 40% Christians. And Christianity is only a money-making scheme for most African countries, especially in Ghana and in Nigeria. And then I'm not even worried about the hustling pastors. I'm worried about the what you call it, the brain numbness, the manipulation, the mental slavery, which slavery, I mean, the religion, especially Christianity, has caused. Mental slavery. Christianity has never inspired any form of greatness. It has only inspired Europeans to go out there and subjugate everybody that is non-Christian. They have no purpose to share power with anybody. Okay, to the point where they have it in the Bible, quoting Jesus saying that slaves must obey their masters. Slave must obey their masters. What does that entail? So basically, they come to Africa, they make Africans slaves, and they always expect Africans to obey them. So they put you in a perpetual category of being a servant to them. Okay, I mean, how can that be in a religious text? How can that be? Anyway, so Cave Crusher original and real Christianity equals Ethiopia, not the fraudulent European crap. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Ethiopia is the birthplace for everything. Okay. The first castle, the first castle on the planet. Okay. The longest running monarchy is in Ethiopia, in the world. Okay. In the world, Ethiopia ruled like the Ethiopian kingdoms. When you talk about Egypt, okay, it was formerly the Kushite Empire, which came straight out of Ethiopia. Okay, before there was any Egypt, it was a Kushite Empire. Okay, it was a Kushite Empire, right? That sent all that knowledge, religious knowledge, spiritual knowledge to the Nile Delta, which we now call Egypt, right? Anyway, this is not going to be a history lesson now, but we'll have a look at this article. But religious groups in the country are urging the Ethiopian government to ban the company, and I've heard somewhere that the government has already banned it. Okay, ban the company from visiting religious sites, and this is so crazy. Like this news coming in the month of, right after Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, where the prime minister commemorated, the Eid festivities, right? And they're pushing this. Okay, so a whole lot of people are going to be very angry, right? But the religious groups in the country are urging Ethiopian government to ban the company from visiting religious sites, warning that gay travelers could face violence. Ethiopia has strict anti-gay laws, okay, with homosexuality acts or homosexual acts punishable by up to 15 years in prison. Other places, if you're caught, okay, you'll be stoned. You'll be stoned to death. Okay, you'll be banished. Yeah. According to Article 6 to 29 of the Ethiopian Criminal Code, this applies to both nationals and foreigners. Okay. Speaking at a press conference on Monday, Dereje Negash, vice chairman of Celeste Miheret United Association, an Ethiopian Orthodox Church organization, said that gay travelers with total tours will be damaged. They could even die if they visit Ethiopia. Total tours are wrong to plan to conduct tours in our religious and historical places. He said, Tege Tadele of the Inner Religious Council of Ethiopia told news agency AFP, which has 7 Islamic and Christian denominations as members, said LGBT tour programs and dating programs that try to use our historical sites and heritage should be immediately stopped by Ethiopian government. So yeah. Total Tours, which has been organizing trips around the world for LGBT travelers and their friends and families since 1990, describes itself as dedicated to creating exciting travel opportunities that enable our community to explore the wonders of the world in comfort and safety while having the time of our lives. What did I just read? Yeah, places of worship. You can't have that, right? So soldiers need to guard the sites. Chaotic Storm said, Cave Crusher, exactly. If they want dev style, stay in Western Europe. I mean, why can't they just stay there? I mean, let them stay where they are and do their thing. Why did they try to push the agenda all the time? Okay, they want to rub it in your face all the time. Okay, it's bizarre, right? It's bizarre. I mean, they're reducing a heterosexual man to nothing, really. So I find it really bizarre. It's quite disrespectful too. Dedicated to creating. I mean, all these things came from the church. When you have pedophile priests molesting little boys, they're not even true to what they practice. Okay, they're biggest hypocrites on the planet. Okay, these Christian churches, hypocrites. Okay, and at least in Africa, okay, the churches in Africa have a money making scheme. They make a lot of money. Okay, and it's all about hustling. Okay, it's all about pimping in Africa when it comes to churches. But in Europe, it's perverted. Okay, starting from Greece. Okay, it's in the history. That's what they do. Okay, even the Vikings custom, they sleep with men and they sleep with anything. These people, they have no. It's not part of the moral fabric. Okay, they have the Greeks especially say they have the highest form of sexual excitement when they have sex with men. This is ancient Greece. Ancient Greece. And they wouldn't tell you Alexander the Great, okay, or some people say Alexander the fake, okay. He died out of he had syphilis and died because he was having sex with men. Yeah, he had a homosexual gay partner. Okay, they wouldn't tell you this. Okay, Alexander the Great or Alexander the Gay, okay, he was a homosexual. Okay, and having a sexual relationship with his own mother. Okay, they wouldn't tell you this. Yeah, so they're just, the Roman Catholic Church just incorporated Christianity, okay, as a mechanism to control the people in the region at the time. They had no intentions of following Jesus or the message of Jesus. They corrupted everything just to push the agenda of homosexuality. And when you look at the Catholic Church, it's evident. Okay, you have nuns, Catholic nuns, practicing homosexuality. And one of my favorite movies I saw was called Sinful Nuns. Okay, if you haven't seen it, you go see it. Quite interesting. Sinful Nuns, a very old movie, right? But yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah. So much that there was one cardinal in Australia that was recently jailed. Okay, but there's on the news again. He's been um, they've been trying to get him out. They've been trying to get him out. But yeah, this is what they do. Okay, it's embedded in the Europeans' way of life tradition. Okay, homosexuality. Okay, it's a common practice for them. That's what they do because they do not believe in life. Okay, that's why they can create atomic bombs, pollute the waters, create GMOs, and just be so capitalistic without thinking of the climate, without thinking of the planet where they live in. Right. Right. So I'll go back to here. This quote here blew me off, right? Dedicated to creating exciting travel opportunities that enable our community to explore wonders of the world in comfort and safety while having the time of our lives. Like, what does this mean? Having the time of our lives. Like, you mean gay French kissing in the temples? I mean, these people have no respect, right? They want to be gay French kissing near the monks. That's what they want to be doing. And they're going to be doing it. Gay French kissing and taking Instagram photos. That's what they're going to be doing. And they're not going to have it. Okay. At least the Muslim community in Ethiopia are not going to have it. Right. They're not going to have it. It has also run tours to Uganda and Tanzania, both of which currently criminalizes homosexual acts. So yeah. Yeah, you can't have that in Tanzania. You can't have that in certainly in Uganda. Okay, Uganda, they will kill you for it. They will definitely kill you for it. They've killed for less than that. Okay. Anyway, in an email to AFP, Total Tours President Dan Ware said the company had been terribly misunderstood. I mean, it's pretty obvious what you're trying to put out. Okay. And called for protection for the tour group from both the US State Department and Ethiopian Tourism Ministry. I mean, you will not be allowed to come to the country in the first place. You'll be banned, right? You will be banned. We come with only the greatest respect and humility, Ware said our company. But that's not what he said in the article, though. The previous article I read, okay, see, critics say the American group would openly will be defined this law. Okay, this is their intention. Their whole intention is to go and defy the laws, okay, of the country. Okay, desecrate all the holy sites. That's what they want to do, just to make a statement. But I dare them to do that in Saudi Arabia. I dare them to do that in the Sudan. Okay, I mean the Sudan, the Sudanese political crisis at the moment will cease. Okay, will cease instantly, and all focus will be on these people. I can bet my bottom dollar on that. I dare them to do that. Right? They should try it in Egypt. So, yeah, I mean, see here, but he said he is inclined to go forward with the trip. How can you be so defiant? Defiant. How can you be so defiant? Okay, to say you are inclined to go forward with the trip. I mean, seriously, these people have no respect. Okay, they have no respect for Africans, right? Yeah, so we come with the own greatest respect and humility, where said our company is not aimed at spreading values contrary to local cultures when we travel around the world. We are simply an organization where like-minded people can travel comfortably together to experience the world's most precious wonders. I mean, why can't you go as a human being? Why do you have to go as labeled as a gay traveling group to promote your agenda? Why do you want to do that when you know homosexuality is against the law? So Cave Crusher, let's see, Cave Crusher, Pure Sick, yeah, exactly. Chaotic Storm, don't forget to like the video. Yeah, family, like the video, share if you can, invite your friends, okay? Cave Crusher, distraction so Africa can lose their eye of the ball. Psychological warfare. Oh yeah, this is definitely psychological. They cannot break us with the physically removing Africans from the continent. Okay, they physically killed off a whole lot of people, especially North Africa. There was a genocide that killed a lot of people in North Africa. Not including the Islamic invasion of North Africa, the genocide during World War I and II. We talk about the experimentation. We talk about King Leopold, what he did in Congo, 10 million people. When we talk about Mussolini and his army, nearly 500,000 people lost their lives trying to save Ethiopia from being captured by or controlled by Italy. We talk about the genocide by the South Africans, the Boers in South Africa, Angola. Okay, we talk about Namibia, the Herero tribe, where they try to kill them off on this island called the Shark Island. Nobody talks about that. Okay, when we talk about the West Africa, okay, removing these people forcefully to the Americas, right? Estimated 142 million people lost their lives. Okay, and millions were shipped to the Americas. I mean, the depopulation of Africa has been an agenda that has been going on for so long, but they can't do that. I mean, it will not happen. I mean, they will not succeed doing that. They tried every means by poisoning the waters, okay, by economic enslavement, but by every means necessary for them to push the agenda. And now they couldn't even do that with HIV/AIDS. Okay, now the best way they could do it is promote feminism, okay, and gayism or homosexuality in Africa, okay, and it's not gonna fly, okay, it's not gonna fly in Africa. This is terrible discrimination, and I mean, when you talk about discrimination, okay, it is really discrimination or discriminatory if you only organize tour for gay people, so people who are not gay cannot be part of it. That alone is discrimination in itself. So this is like hypocrisy on a highest level. So this is terrible discrimination, and when the word of this spreads internationally, as it is most likely to do, it will have negative impact on the important tourism industry in Ethiopia. Seriously, I mean, you can visit Ethiopia as a human being, but do not promote your gayism there. You can just go to Ethiopia, okay, enjoy, have a good time. But why must you go to Ethiopia as a gay group? Why is it so necessary to do that? Okay, that alone tells me that, I mean, this is just a ploy, it's a scheme. But these gay people, I mean, these, homosexuals, it's an agenda. It's an agenda. They should try it in Saudi Arabia. You try it. Yeah, the African Holocaust. Nobody talks about that. Yeah, millions, if not billions, of Africans were murdered in the past. Okay, were murdered. Yeah. Let's see. I've always said that because the Kushite Empire pushed all the way into like what, Turkey, okay, Turkey, and then even the Egyptian Empire, okay, ruled the Mediterranean, okay, Cyprus, all these I mean, ancient civilizations, Greece, all that, was this Greece, Italy, Spain, France, even all the way into Germany, okay, into Russia, okay. Africans ruled all those places, and it keeps happening to me. I keep asking myself, what happened to all these Africans? They've either been genocided, okay. It's even in the Bible how the Jews, basically killed off everybody on the land of Canaan. They basically wiped them out. Genocide. It's been documented in the Bible, the genocidal act on African people. It's documented, and I don't know why any African would open the Bible and read it and think it's the word of God. It's not the word of God. It's a word. It's a book documenting, okay, the genocide on African people till date, and black people still believe in that, right? Black people still believe in it and think it's the word of God. No, it's not. They put in your face. They're genociding you. They put in your face, and then you just read it. So I mean, the mental slavery goes deep. I mean, it goes deep. Yeah. So John. So again, this is a lie. Okay, it's not going to impact tourism in Ethiopia. Okay, tourism in Ethiopia has been doing well. Ethiopia is currently, I mean, opening the doors to what's it called? Africans in the diaspora. Okay, or all over the continent. Okay, to arrive in Africa without a visa. Okay, you get a visa on on arrival. I mean, so I mean, if anything, tourism is going to increase. I mean, Ethiopia is pushing for more development, and I mean, tourism is only going to go up and up and up in Ethiopia and Africa as a whole. And with the African free trade agreement, okay, it's only going to get better. Okay, it's only going to get better. So Chaotic Storm, they cannot play the same games. We are in a new era. Exactly. Okay, we see it all with social media, with the internet. I mean, we see it all, right? We cannot all see it. Okay, so I mean, the internet, is the greatest liberator for African people. Okay, we can log on to the internet and see what's happening in Brussels. We can see what's happening in Germany right now. Okay, we can see everything that's happening. All right, that's why we need very, very educated leaders, very dedicated African leaders, and African leaders that act in the best interest of African people and moving us forward, right? Moving us forward. So yeah, more of that in the future in the stream. Okay. John Tanzella, CEO of the International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association. I mean, why is this an issue? Why must there be a CEO of International Gay and Lesbian Travel Association? I mean, that alone is not right. So you definitely cannot be part of this association if you're not gay. So IGLTA said the situation showed how much work there was still to be done to achieve equality. I mean, you're trying to push equality of gay rights in Africa. I mean, it's the least of concern to the African. Okay, the African wants food on the table. The African wants infrastructure. The African wants what was this equal. Well, if you want equality, okay, the African wants equal living standards as you have in the West. Okay, the African wants all that. Gay rights is the very, very least thing the African wants. And these people, if they're smart enough, okay, civilizations evolve based on technology. Okay, so if these people are actually very smart, if they want to achieve this, okay, they could go build up the cities in Africa. They could go raise these people out of poverty in Africa and stuff like that. And once the Africans are comfortable, okay, they can push the agenda. Fair enough. The Africans are starving. Africans are having political turmoil. There's so much happening on the continent, and all you care about, you have a CEO of an international organization, okay, and all they concern about is gay rights. I mean, this is just crazy. This is just crazy. So crazy to me. Yeah. So said the situation showed how much work there was still to be done to achieve equality, and that the travel industry could play an important role in facilitating change. Our company is not aimed at spreading values contrary to local cultures. Of course it is. Of course it is. You're pushing this gay agenda. It's against the grain in Africa. It's against it. Okay, the cultural norms. It's against the cultural norms. Homosexuality is not part of the African culture. Okay, it's not permissible. So our company is not aimed at spreading values. Okay, can you see me? Can you see me? I think they sort of like, uh, people might be flagging my stream. Okay, people might be flagging my stream. I think my connection is getting bad now. My connection is getting bad now. But yeah, like the stream, okay, like the stream, because I'm talking about gay people, okay. I think it might be part of the YouTube policies, okay, not to be discriminatory or preach hatred or whatever, hate speech. But this is not it. I'm just reading an article, okay. I'm reading an article. Yeah, so yeah, Google is censoring. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So they flag it, they check it, and then they know that I'm not really doing anything you know uh evil. So then they let me continue, but as it is, right? They're trying to flag it, right? Uh Again, our company is not aimed at spreading values contrary to local cultures when we travel around the world. We are simply an organization where like-minded people can travel comfortably together to experience the world's most precious wonders. That's not what you said before. Okay, you said you were going to rock. Okay, you were going to rock Ethiopia. Okay, that what you said before. Okay, you were going to rock Ethiopia, and you also said you were going to what was it again? You said it was going to what was this? It was going to have uh, I'm gonna find this. Uh, where was this? Where was this? Where did I see this? Um, they were gonna have a good time or something like that. It was just ridiculous what I read before. Um, anyway, it will come back to me. It will come back to me. I'll continue. I'm gonna try and waste time. But yeah, basically they're gonna go and have a good time and do what they do. Basically, okay. We are believers in the long-term power of tourism as a positive force. IGLTA has member businesses. I mean, the biggest GDP in Africa is not tourism anyway to start with. Okay, Africa has the world, best tourist spots in the world, world's best tourist destinations. But because they've demonized Africa so much that people don't want to travel to Africa. But the few that have made it to Africa, okay, always want to go back because there's something about that place that changes you. Okay, it's so beautiful. Okay, and in my adult life, okay, okay, I was privileged to travel to Mauritius in 2016, and it's like the most beautiful place I've ever visited. Even though I live in Australia, which is also one of the most beautiful places in the world, beautiful, beautiful beaches, beautiful islands, especially when you go to the east coast of Australia. Talking about Queensland, okay, very beautiful beaches all around Australia. Okay. But this little place in Mauritius is so breathtaking. Okay, it's so beautiful, right? But not many people know this. And Mauritius' biggest GDP comes from tourism. Comes from tourism, right? So yeah. But LGBT, this issue is not going to affect Africa's tourism. Okay, it's not going to affect it. Yeah. What was We are believers in the long-term power of tourism as a positive force. IGLTA has member businesses in more than 80 countries, and not all of them are located in places with favorable laws for LGBTQ plus people. The last time I saw it was up to LGBTQ. There's a plus now. Okay, I'm not sure what the plus means, but our policy is to support their commitment to providing safe and welcoming LGBTQ plus travel experiences, he said. Where to travel is a personal choice, but the key is to be an informed traveler who understands the laws, culture, and associated risks of the places you have chosen to visit. Anti-gay laws are widespread across Africa. I mean, it's not anti-gay laws. I mean, it's the law of the country. It's the law of the place. I mean, I cannot go to the United States and say, is anti gun culture. I mean, like, it's the law of the place to own guns. You can't. I mean, come on. I'm using a wrong analogy there, but I mean, it's just bizarre. Okay, it's just bizarre. You can't go to a country and try to change the laws of the country and call it an anti something. If you don't like it, don't go there. Don't go there. Okay, don't go there. If you don't like it, don't go there. Don't go and try and change the people's laws. Right? It's crazy. Again, you can't go to Saudi Arabia and do that. You can't do that there. Okay, with I mean, again, with people like religion. Okay, religion evolves with when it comes to um, um, technology. When technology evolves, okay, religion evolves as well. Now we send probes to space. Okay, now it just questions the belief in God. Before we thought God was above the clouds. When we hear thunder, when the African hears the thunder and that, they think it's God that's angry. Okay, but then and then again they stole it and made it Thor, right? That was the African god, okay, god of thunder, right? So now we've gone beyond Pluto. We know so much about the universe that we don't know, and we still haven't seen any God in sight. We still haven't seen any God in sight. Okay, technology. If you refuse to change your ideology with the advent of technology, I mean, you must be the dumbest person on this planet. Okay, you're so stuck in the past, refusing to evolve, right? Whereas everything else evolve around you. So eventually you're gonna look stupid. I've seen videos of there was I mean, again, this is how people think, right? If you think China is an evil autocratic country, government, communist government. Okay, I've seen videos of or photos of many years ago. There was a photo of a man that owned a house, and they were going to build a highway where his house was. Everyone else had sold the property to make way for the highway. Okay, and this man refused to move. Okay, guess what? They built a highway around his house. Okay, they built a highway around his house, and he was trapped in the middle of the highway. I mean, are you being stupid or you being what? It's just stupidity. So everything is evolving around you, and you still remain the same. You're just gonna look stupid. So silly, right? You're gonna look silly. In 2019, you're still waiting for a God to drop from the sky to rescue you. So this is how we're thinking now, still in 2019. So I mean, anyway, anti-gay laws are widespread across Africa, with homosexuality punishable by death in Mauritania, Sudan, northern Nigeria, and southern Somalia. Okay, some places they don't even tell you. Okay, they'll do it anyway. They don't tell you. It's not official, but they'll do it. Okay, earlier this year, it was decriminalized in Angola, joining 21 other African countries, according to Amnesty International. Again, when you look at the ruling people in Angola, okay, they're Portuguese, okay, they're Portuguese, and they push the agenda there, okay. But when you have countries like that's why I say that Islam is like Islam is the fundamental African, even though it's been masked by it's been corrupted by the Jewish people, okay. The Islam that we know, okay, is been corrupted, okay. But the core fundamental element still remains as an African culture, okay. The authentic African culture is embedded in Islam, okay. If you really want to know the African spirituality, okay, it's in, because mind you, Egypt is right next to Saudi Arabia. When they invaded, they got into Egypt first, okay. They stole the ideas, okay, and made it theirs. But then they in order to win the favor of the people, of the Africans, okay, they incorporated all the African traditions into the Islamic religion, okay, to make it appealing for these Africans. Okay, so the African traditions are preserved in the Islamic religion, and the African is pro-life. Okay, the African is pro-life. That's why even in their poverty, they're still happy, because they know there's always tomorrow for them. Okay, suicide is not a commonplace in Africa. Africans do not commit suicide because they always believe in tomorrow, and they believe in the afterworld. Okay, that what you spend your life doing, okay, is going to reflect in the afterlife. And the African believes in reincarnation. Okay, if you lead a worthy life, okay, you will transcend into the stars where they came from. But then if you're corrupted, okay, you going back into rebirth, okay, and the cycle keeps on until you reach a higher status in your spirituality, or your consciousness, and then you be you know sent to the stars. Okay, okay, this is how the Africans believe, right? That's why when you look at even Islam, okay, it incorporates everything that is fundamental to the African spirituality. Okay, when you look at the crescent moon, okay, look at the moon, the dome itself. Okay, the dome itself is in the shape of the breast, the female's breast, meaning that it's life. Okay, it's what gives life. The female breast is what gives life to a newborn child. Okay, the moon and all this, it's all Egyptian. All right, all these things is Egyptian. Even the way they pray, the prayer position, it's all Egyptian, African, right? The black stone, the Kaaba, everything else is African. All right, it's just African. But yeah, so yeah, 21 countries out of Africa, 55 countries in Africa have decriminalized homosexuality, but it doesn't mean that homosexuality is acceptable. Okay, it's just by law, but you can't be kissing in public in Africa. You can't be doing that, according to Amnesty International. So Amnesty International is pushing this, right? So including Burkina Faso, Republic of Congo, and Mali, where homosexuality has never been against the law. Okay. So that ends the article here. Okay. So yeah, I'll stop presenting for a while. Okay. For a little bit. So yeah, Cave Crusher, they certainly destroyed the nuclear family. Yes, they did. Certainly did. Sick and tired, ban all NGOs, development aid, and foreign aid flowing to Africa because it comes with political agenda. And again, I don't think the most detrimental thing when it comes to aid in Africa, okay, the foreign aid and that, okay, it keeps Africa dependent on them, okay. I always see aid as basically basically giving money to the poor on the street, the beggar on the street. If the beggar sits on the street and makes $200 a day, do you think he's ever going to get off the street? It's perpetually put Africa in a subordinate position where we're always begging. We're always begging the West for things. Okay, so I personally do not side with um, uh, giving aid or accepting aid. Yeah, so it's just so crazy. Okay, it's crazy how the ploys and the limits at which these people push the boundaries. The Western elites hate the internet. Oh yeah, of course they do. Okay, of course they do. So yeah, again, Cave Crusher blacks need to wake the hell up to reality. Yeah. Um, Nobody in Africa cares about their crutch. uh, Keep it to themselves, exactly. Uh, they want to slow Ethiopia's growth. Yeah, chaotic storm. Exactly, right? They want to introduce the stalling tactics, okay, by forwarding this feminism. Okay, so there are other things to talk about, okay, and now this is an issue to deliberate on in Parliament, okay. I mean, come on, it's a waste of time, right? Cave Crusher know their dirty, sick games. We know our enemies and their every rule book. Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to catch up on the comments. Okay. Cave Crusher. It's tourism booming due to Africans. It's tourism booming due to Africans. They don't need these sick pink devils. They can't stop the growth of Ethiopia and their population. I mean, Ethiopia itself, okay, Ethiopia itself is the second most populous African country, right? So you can see what's happening here. They try to push it in Nigeria as well, just because Nigeria has 200 million people. Okay, they try all sort of means. They've tried to even sterilize the Nigerian women. Okay, to no avail. And Nigeria has the world's largest number of twins. Okay, birth rate. Okay, so yeah, again, Cape Crusher. It's against the culture and norms and traditions of the African people. Yeah, yeah, certainly, right. Uh, yeah, see, Google is censoring. Yeah. Is it expensive to travel there? Are you talking about Mauritius? No, it wasn't very expensive. It cost me from Australia. It cost me. It wasn't very expensive to travel to Mauritius at all. It cost me just about $1,300 return. Okay, $1,300 return flight. So yeah, about $650 one way. So that's very cheap. Okay, that's very cheap. Yeah, that's very cheap. Mm. Cheaper than flying to Japan. Okay, but sometimes you can fly budget airlines to Japan for like $200. So when they, especially in the winter months, okay, when it's winter in Australia, flights are cheap to Asia. So it's summer there. So yeah. but then you have an influx of a lot of people, so hotels make a lot of money, so they can subsidize for that. Propaganda from the Western media. Of course it is, especially this article, okay. And mind you, this tour group, okay, they put on their social media, they're gonna rock Ethiopia. I mean, come on. They're speaking in code here. You speak officially decriminalized. Okay. Yeah, I mean you know, a lot of these, when you look at a lot of these countries, they either dependent on they're dependent on aid, or they run by Western puppets. Okay, so when you have Mali being run by France, okay, one of the gay destinations in the world, France. Um, you have Burkina also run by France. You have Angola run by Portugal mainly. Okay, Portuguese elites in Angola. I mean, you're gonna have that. Okay, you're gonna have that. That all the Islamic countries, uh, even though Mali, part of the reason why you have the insurgency in Mali and Nigeria, because they do not agree to what the Western countries are pushing in these countries, right? Right. So, Cave Crusher again. Yeah, chaotic storm. Nobody wanted that. Okay, nobody really wanted that in Africa. Okay, but then in order for them to get all the what you call it, all the aids, okay, they have to agree to decriminalize homosexuality. But how dare you not go two men kissing on the street in Angola? I mean, you're gonna have it, right? You're gonna have it. They're gonna take it lightly at all. Even in Ghana, for a matter of fact, okay, they're not gonna have it. Okay, Ghanaians are quite liberal, but on the issue of homosexuality, it's not the thing that the African embraces, right? Because the African knows that the moment they embrace homosexuality, okay, they is the end of them. Okay, is the end of life. Okay, existence for them, right? So yeah, yeah, Cape Crusher, colonial imperialistic satellite state. Exactly, that's what it is. Yeah. So they basically have their proxy governments there. And again, it's not evil to be gay. It's not, nobody's hating on anyone being gay. Okay, but just don't go and be kissing two men kissing on the street in Africa or at a holy site. Okay, it's not acceptable. Right? It's not acceptable. Okay, so I'll go on to the next segment. Okay. Um, the homosexuality agenda. Okay. Uh, yeah. So Ethiopian PM. So Voice of Africa again. Okay. So leading article. Ethiopian Prime Minister. All of my intention and action is aimed at elevating Ethiopia. So yeah. Um, this was the African of the Year. I think 2018. Abiy Ahmed. Okay. Some people may hate him, some people might like him, but he is the African of the Year for so many reasons. Okay, and I've personally done many stories on him. Okay, so Voice of Africa, Ethiopian Prime Minister. All of my intention and action is aimed at elevating Ethiopia. Under Abiy Ahmed, we've seen so many positive development in East Africa. Okay, he's united, you know, Somalia with Kenya. He's made peace with Eritrea. You know, in Sudan, he's tried to bridge South Sudan with Sudan. I mean, you know, avert the crisis between Ethiopia and Egypt in regards to the Nile. I mean, Abiy Ahmed has so much. He's done so much to be commended for than be hated about. But this is one of the things that I'm going to address about him. Okay, so Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed discusses his first year in office, May 27th, 2019, in Addis Ababa. This article was on the 31st of May. Chaotic Storm. Africans don't hate gays, but there is no place for gays in Africa. Haha, they look at it as the same thing, but it really is different. I wouldn't say there's no place for gays. I mean, being gay is alright. Okay, it used to be a time where gay means happy. Okay, gay only means being happy. I am so gay, meaning I'm happy. But I don't know when gay, the meaning of gay became what it is that we know at the moment. But it's okay to be gay, but the act of homosexuality is not accepted. Okay, so even if, again, just a different thought. Okay, even if African countries decriminalize being gay, okay, some place being gay is a criminal offense to be gay, or if you found being gay, okay, you'd be imprisoned. But you can be gay, but as long as you do not carry out a homosexual act. Okay, you've not been as long as you've not been caught as a man having sex with another man. Okay, this is what it's about. It's a taboo in Africa. Okay, it's a taboo. So you can be as gay as you want, but just don't commit a homosexual act. So Addis Ababa, Washington. Editor's note: Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed gave his first interview in Amharic to a Western news organizations when he spoke to the Voice of America's Horn of Africa service reporter Eskinder Firu Monday, May 27th in Addis Ababa. These highlights from their conversation have been edited for brevity and clarity. For the past year, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has led Ethiopia through dramatic changes. Entrenched ethnic tensions and complex regional conflicts have posed ongoing challenges to the young leaders' reform agenda. So he has a reform agenda to reform Ethiopia and the Eastern African region. But he remains resolute in his desire to make the most of his time in office. Abiy spoke to VOA's Eskinder Firu about Ethiopia's relationship with neighboring Eritrea, judicial reforms, and the imprint he hopes to leave. So so it's kind of like a dialogue between them. So Eskinder Firu said, on the occasion of your first anniversary as Prime Minister, you said, I am only planning to elevate Ethiopia to higher standards, awaken the public, and lift up a country that is hanging on its head. I don't have any other ill intentions other than that. What do you mean by that? Okay, so Abiy Ahmed replied, I do not believe that it's proper to stay in power for long periods of time. And as long as I have power, I believe that I should use that to change people's lives. But within my efforts working to bring change, there may be errors, but all of my intention and action is aimed at elevating Ethiopia. My agenda is not to use certain groups to attack certain groups or to push specific groups or oppress people. What I what I am working on is work that elevates Ethiopians. That's what I want, and that's what I do. So yeah, I did an article on, a video, a vlog on this topic called more than money. You can check it. Okay, you can check it out. One of my um, you know favorite streams that I've done, or my vlogs that I've done, or successful vlogs. So I can confidently say that I will not be involved in killing people or benefiting by illegal means by taking other people's pockets, as long as I am in position of leadership. So Amra Karim, thanks for joining the stream, family. I appreciate you coming here. Gay crash, Cave Crusher. Gay became the crutch in the 70s and 80s. Push of gay clubs in America and Europe. it used to be a mental illness until 1974 in the US. Of course, yeah. You know, it's spiraled the downfall of the USA. Okay. Out of the gay, you know, came feminism. Okay, and you know, in the effort of feminism, okay, they promote homosexuality. Okay, when the men are effeminized, okay, they you know they promote more gay agenda. So I mean, your country's going nowhere when you have men behaving like women. Your country's going nowhere, right? It's going nowhere. Anyway, voice of A is what? Voice of America? Oh, that was Voice of Africa, run by U.S. Department. Thanks for that, family. Voice of America. Okay. Uh, Chaotic Storm. They attack the men with homosexuality and women with feminism. Yeah, exactly. And it's all feminist agenda. Okay, feminist agenda. What do you see now? The feminists are pushing more of the gay agenda, right? Feminists are pushing more of the gay agenda. So yeah. So you know, feminism pushing agenda that they do not need men, and then you have your homes. I mean, the everyday family being a single parent home, primarily about 72% being children raised by women. Okay, women do not raise men to be men. Okay, women cannot raise a man to be a man, right? In your message to in your message to the government and people of Eritrea on the occasion of Eritrea's Independence Day, you express Ethiopia's readiness to remain committed to jointly addressing all outstanding issues the countries face. That what are these outstanding issues? So Abiy said, if we take the problem between Somalia and Kenya, we want Eritrea and South Sudan and along with Ethiopia to help one another and provide support to solve these issues. We know that any problem between Somalia and Kenya can spill over toward us. So as you know, there's a lot of Somalis living in Kenya at the moment. So the issues in Somalia has, you know, has spurred the movement of people from Somalia into Kenya. You know, creating the biggest slum in Nairobi. Okay, by the Somali refugees in Kenya. And every Somali person that I know personally here in Australia came through Kenya. Okay, came through Kenya. Um, so between Somalia and Kenya can spill over toward us. Because of this, we would like to work together to solve it. Okay, so I mean, regional integration is best for Africa. It is the best thing that will ever happen to Africa when we unite. Okay, we will solve every problem when we unite, right? So yeah, there is a wide-ranging issue as it relates to South Sudan. We don't think that Ethiopia alone can solve the problem, and the same when it comes to the problem between us and Eritrea. Again, this is why we need the African Union. Okay, we need the African Union and collapse all these boundaries, all these borders. Okay, all right, and we join together. Okay, this is the only way Africa can progress. And there are also problems between Eritrea and other countries too. So this is a region that has a lot of problems, but additionally, this is also a region that wants to move in the direction of integration. The border closing between the two countries, Eritrea and Ethiopia, has continued until today. After it was initially reopened, it, it is the situation currently. So Abiy responded saying, when the peace process started between the two sides, we saw the borders were widely open on both sides. We can say that people were moving to and from, not like foreign countries, but movement similar to what happens within a country. So basically, because basically Eritreans are basically the same people in Ethiopia. We're all Africans. Okay, when the border was open, people were just freely moving. Okay, they were moving about. We're all black people. We're moving around. You can't tell the difference really. So that's what it is. But of course, it's raised concern of militant groups and other insurgency and stuff like that that will try and disrupt governments. So they close the border for that purpose, right? We can say that people are moving to and from, not like foreign countries, but movements similar to what happens within a country. So Abia was basically saying that you couldn't tell the difference who was Ethiopian or who was Eritrean. We were basically just one people, right? They were in strict controls, and many people came from there to here and from here to there. But that was not the only thing. Ethiopian opposition members who were based in Eritrea returned to Ethiopia, but Eritrean opposition members based in Ethiopia haven't returned to Eritrea. Yeah, that's a different story. Okay. There needs to be a system where there is control and a custom check system, and we need the capacity so that it would be possible to know what people are bringing in and out. There is a concern that if we leave the borders open, uncontrolled, that it would be difficult to prevent problems. We want to ensure that if people are going from Ethiopia to Eritrea or from Eritrea to Ethiopia, it has to be for peace, development, and tourism. So it's good to see, like, Africa is trading amongst itself or herself. You know, there's nobody's going to do it for us. Okay, we have to do it ourselves. Okay, we have to do it ourselves. That's why, most African countries embrace the African free trade. Okay, which I have an article I will jump on in a minute. So, regarding change in Ethiopia and legal reforms, some people say that if the measures taken are enough, we would see the results. But because the measures taken aren't enough, we see continuation of some things. What's your response? Abia responded saying, everyone should get equal treatment in the face of the law. It should never be used as a tool for revenge. Revenge. When we respect the rule of law, it should be in accordance to that. So when a government takes action, there are some who say that this decision was made by someone from my ethnic group or my community. Again, so they are leading to tribalism, okay, which is, we know, it's prevalent in Ethiopia. Okay, tribalism is throughout East Africa, man. The tribalism is crazy. Okay, that's why government in Africa needs to be a socialist government. Okay, a one party system in Africa. Okay, as envisioned by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and it's going to be the goal of the African Union. Okay, having a one party system, all countries in Africa pledging allegiance to the African Union. Okay, this is the only way we can work, because I mean the ethnic divide is so crazy. The tribalism is so crazy. People are divided over very, very little things, as elementary as tribalism, tribes. But then again, okay, to the point where if someone becomes president, or even in Ghana itself, okay, I know Akufo-Addo being like an Ashanti, okay, he gets majority support from his ethnic group, which are the majority in the country. The Ashantis are the majority in the country of Ghana. To the point where the Ashanti is not the only ethnic group in Ghana. They want to promote um, Akan or Twi to be the national language in Ghana. It's so ethnocentric. Okay, it shouldn't be, but with Swahili on the rise, okay, Kiswahili on the rise of being the language of the African Union, okay, they should embrace that. Okay, they should embrace that. And Swahili is not originated to any particular country in Africa. There are several countries in East Africa. It's a trading language used by traders in East Africa. So I mean, the spirit of Kiswahili is even great. Okay, it is a language that was birthed due to trade. So yeah, but anyway, go on. But unless this thinking is gone or depleted, it threatens the possibility of protecting the rule of law. So Abiy Ahmed is basically saying that Abiy Ahmed is basically saying that you know we need to end tribalism. Basically, within just this past year, there are so many people that could be jailed or face detention. Thousands are in prison charged with national security, corruption, and displacement, etc. There is no need to put so many people in such a situation because we want to reduce crime and not add prisoners. Like even in the past, okay, the concept of prisons, okay, did not exist in Africa. Okay, Africans were so civil. Okay, there was nothing like prisons in Africa, right? So far, they've excavated so many ancient buildings in Africa. They're yet to find a single prison in Africa, right? They're yet to find a single prison because the African there were fundamental laws that the African never or lived by. Okay, the African lived by. Okay. Imprisoning people is not the African way of life, right? Um, there is no need to put so many people in such situation because we want to reduce crime and not add prisoners. But we still, and then again, prisoners. You don't want to be in prison in Africa to start with because you not be given that royal treatment that you get in the West. Okay, you won't get that. Okay, prisons in Africa are so awful. Okay, awful. But we still have we still have people undergoing these legal processes through the federal and regional levels. But this is not because we are not taking action. It is because we are in the process of focusing on clamping down on crimes that are serious. On the other hand, if we don't think that the law doesn't apply to all equally, we can't have a sustainable future. So, I mean, Abiy Ahmed is all about sustainability for the future for not only Ethiopia, but for the East African region and in Africa as a whole. Okay, so he's so proactive. He's so proactive. He was the first person to try and settle the issue in South Sudan. Okay, and stuff like that. I see Abiy Ahmed similar to Jerry John Rawlings of Ghana, the former president of Ghana. Okay, Jerry John Rawlings had a similar charisma as Abiy Ahmed. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, VOA's Africa Division reporter Salim Solomon contributed to the story. There were a few comments here and there, but you know, some people were against Abiy Ahmed, but majority of the people, I would say about 60% were in favor of Abiy Ahmed, and one particular person said that, let me see if I can find it, said that there were so many, you know, people that um, did not like Abiy Ahmed, but you know, basically, I like Abiy Ahmed because he has a great agenda to promote sustainability in the region and promote peace, okay, and economic, you know, development in that region. And anyone, I will applaud anyone like that. Okay, I'll applaud anyone like that. But nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. Let me see if I can find this comment. Uh, So thank you, VOA, for this timely interview. Ethiopia and the Horn of Africa as a whole have complex challenges. In PM Abiy, we get a leader with clarity of thought, where to take the country and the region. It is a rarity to find such visionary leader in such a troubled spot. We all need to help the PM. Okay, this comment, okay, made my day. Okay, this is a very optimistic person here, Surafel. Okay, and this is how we need to be. Okay, moving forward to the future. Okay, we don't need to be in conflict altogether. We need to embrace positive ideas, right? We need to embrace positive ideas to move to the future. So, yeah. So yeah, so coming to GhanaWeb.com. Okay, so the African Union is stamped its authority. Okay, chaotic storm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, applauding, huh? Applauding Abiy Ahmed. I mean, yeah. And there's more to share. Okay, there's more to share about Abiy Ahmed coming. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's nice. All right, it's nice. Cave Crusher, it's nice. I mean, that's why Abiy Ahmed was the African of the Year last year. You know, he was the African of the Year because his vision is clear. It's unity. Okay, it's unity. Stop the war. So he joined Ethiopia Ethiopia with Eritrea. Okay, the previous leaders of Ethiopia and Eritrea were not you know they were not going to sit together. But Abiy Ahmed went over. Okay, extended the olive branch to Eritrea. Okay, sometimes it takes the big brother, okay, to say sorry to the little brother, even though he's a big brother. But anyway, it's all pride, okay? It's all pride and ego, and it's been perpetuated by the Western governments, okay? Whereas there's chaos, they thrive, okay? They thrive where there's chaos. Anyway, moving on. So you can see the theme coming through, okay? The Western countries are trying to influence the affairs in Africa, be it the LGBT movement, be it through Ebola research in Africa, be it, whatever they're doing in Africa, right? They're doing. They're trying to influence whatever is going on in Africa. All right. And there was a story of Malawi, similar to what happened in Libya when they stormed the U.S. embassy. Okay, the Libyans stormed the U.S. embassy for causing Libya to fall. Okay, they stormed it and then led to the death of the U.S. ambassador. Okay, and Hillary Clinton was to blame, and I blame Obama as well for doing that, for destroying Libya and murdering Gaddafi. So yeah, whoever is thinking that the U.S. okay is your friend, okay, you're lying to yourself. Okay, the U.S. government is not your friend. Okay, the U.S. government is your friend until until their foreign policies do not align with yours. Okay, they always want to grab things from you. Okay, and if they cannot get what they want from you, okay, they'll fight you. Okay, they'll fight you to destabilize your government and take what you have by force. Okay, this is the U.S. government. Okay, do not forget. Okay, this is the U.S. government, the same U.S. government that sanctions slavery. Okay, the same U.S. government is the same U.S. government. All right. So don't think the U.S. government has changed. All right. There are people pulling the strings that you do not know. That you do not know. They're not your friends. Okay, they capitalists. Okay, they're capitalists. They do not care about you. They do not care about anybody's feelings. Right. So this is from GhanaWeb.com. Sudan crisis. African Union membership suspended. So the African Union has stamped its authority, okay, over Sudan. They gave them They gave them 60 days to transition power to civilian government, and they have refused. So just in time of the ratification of the African Free Trade Agreement, which 25 countries have ratified now. In Ghana and Ethiopia were the first. Ghana and Kenya were the first to sign or ratify it, meaning passing it through parliament and approving it as a law, passing it as a law. So collapsing the government borders, not government. Or already a system like that exists in West Africa with the ECOWAS. When you have the ECOWAS passport, you can travel through West Africa and do business or study or whatever you want to do. So yeah, this is only a step forward with the African Union, okay, to stamp its authority, right? So Sudan has seen its most violent week since ousting of President Omar al-Bashir in April. So basically, the violence has caused African Union to say we've had enough of you. Okay, so they've sanctioned Sudan at the moment. So people say Sudan. Okay, again, when it comes to being Arab, okay, Arab is a culture. Okay, it's a culture. There's no particular type of Arab. Okay, Arabs live throughout West Africa, throughout North Africa. and extending to the Middle East. They're all descendants of African people. Okay, descendants of African people. The language they speak is Arabic. Okay, and it's an African language. Okay, it's an African language, which has variants. Okay, variant Hausa being a variant of it. Okay, which is predominant in North Africa. Okay, the largest spoken language in West Africa is Hausa, and it belongs to the Afro. Some people say Afro-Asiatic language group, but yeah, in Sudan they speak Arabic, and people say Sudanese are Arabs, but they're Africans. Okay, the Africans, and I could take you down the road of history. Okay, the whole West Africa, okay, western part of Africa, west of Egypt, okay, was called the Sudan. It was once called Ethiopia. Okay, so Sudan being relegated to just a country about the size of France. Okay, that wasn't it. Okay, Ethiopia being regulated to the same size of France. Okay, that wasn't it. Ethiopia was the entire continent of Africa, right? So it's very, very important we understand these kind of things based on historical evidence and lessons. Really. So the African Union has suspended Sudan's membership with immediate effect amid an upsurge of violence in the capital that has seen dozens killed. Pan-African body has warned of further action if power is not transferred to a civilian authority, a key demand of pro-democracy protesters. Opposition activists say a paramilitary group has killed 108 people this week, but officials put the figure at 46. So again, they're lying about the news, right? Residents said pro-government militia were all over the capital, Khartoum. The violence intensified on Monday when security forces stormed weeks-long site, sitting outside military headquarters in the capital. It is the deadliest incident since veteran President Omar al-Bashir was ousted by military in April after months of peaceful protests. Talks between opposition activists and ruling interim military council have since broken down. The AU Peace and Security Council has, with immediate effect, suspended the participation of the Republic of Sudan in all AU activities until the effective establishment of civilian-led transitional authority as the only way to allow the Sudan to exit from current crisis. The AU tweeted on Thursday the decision. I mean, you don't want to be, you don't want to be, banned from the AU because it's moving forward. AU is moving forward in terms of trade and progress and stuff like that. So you want to be part of it to benefit. So you don't want to be excluded, right? The decision was made unanimously by members at an emergency meeting of the AU in Addis Ababa that lasted more than 5 hours. So they actually spent time on this issue. I mean, the Security Council of the AU have actually deliberated on this several times. They gave the military government, they gave them a prior warning, and then they gave them a second warning, and then they've not done anything. So they've suspended them. So we'll see how things go from there. We'll see the power of the AU in a minute. The chairman of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, on Monday called for an immediate, transparent investigation into the killings. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed was heading to Khartoum on Friday to try to mediate between the two sides, Reuters news agency reported. So that's today. So Abiy Ahmed is meant to be in Khartoum to talk with the military general. So I mean, this guy is doing a great deal, right? What's the latest? The Sudanese authorities spoke about the first time on Thursday about the death toll, denying that it was as high as 100 and claiming it was at most 46. So they're lying about it, right? Doctors linked to the opposition say the figure is as high as 108 and that 40 bodies were pulled from the River Nile in Khartoum on Thursday. I mean, that's really bad, right? The deputy head of the military council, Mohammed Hamadan, defended the violent opposition, claiming that the protesters had been infiltrated by rogue elements and drug dealers. Meanwhile, residents in Khartoum told BBC they are living in fear with much of the city in lockdown in the wake of the killings. Numerous reporters said paramilitary unit, the feared rapid response. Okay, I have had enough of this article. Okay. So what happened to the talks? Sudan has been controlled by military council since pro-democracy protests ended President Bashir 30 days of authoritarian rule. Demonstrators had been occupying the square in front of military headquarters, while their representatives had negotiated with the military council and agreed a 3-year transition that would culminate in elections. But after security forces swept in and opened fire on unarmed protesters in the square on Monday, the head of military council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, announced that the agreement was cancelled and an election would take place within 9 months. After an appeal from Saudi Arabia to resume talks, Gen Burhan reversed course and said the military council would open our arms to negotiate with no restriction. But the offer was rejected by the opposition activists, who said the military council would or could not be trusted after the lockdown. Yeah, so I mean, like this is happening in Sudan. I mean, where's NATO, right? Where's NATO? Where's the U.S. government? They're not saying anything about Sudan. They're not saying anything because it's not a strategic position for them. But Libya is. Libya is, of course. So they go bomb up Libya, okay, disrupt what Libya has going. Okay, Libya having one of the biggest economies in Africa at the time of Gaddafi, right? Go and destroy that. But they don't care about Sudan. Where is NATO? You have a military government in Sudan, okay, killing 108 people, protesters. Where is the military? Where is the U.S. Navy SEALs? Where are they? Where's the French military group or the French pilots? Where's the French Air Force dropping bombs in Sudan? Where Darfur was taking place? They don't care. They don't care because it's not a strategic area for them, right? It's not a strategic area for them. Anyway, so that ends that article. I'll move on quickly to the other one. There's a short read coming on. So Ethiopian Prime Minister mediates in Sudan. So I just read about that. So yeah. So let's see. The Sudanese Health Ministry says, okay, civilians were shot dead. Okay, along with Mr. Abiy, a representative from Egypt is expected to be in the Sudan as well as the AU's Peace and Security Commissioner, Ismail Chegui. Okay, so I mean, where's the UN? Where's NATO? They do not care about Sudan. Okay, I mean, it's been going on for months now. It's been going on for months. Okay, they've said nothing, right? But oh, let's go bomb Libya. Let's go on and bomb Libya, right? Let's go and bomb Libya. So this is Africa. Thanks for joining the stream. Just seeing the title, they have no respect. They are thugs. Yeah, of course they're thugs. They don't respect. They have no respect for Africa, right? Yeah. So yeah, they support destabilized nations. They not only support destabilized nation, they cause nations to be destabilized in Africa so they can get whatever they want. So very soon, okay, as they're just waiting for things to escalate, okay. And then they'll go and say, oh, look, we come in there for peacekeeping, and then before you realize, they start controlling the oil, the oil, you know, how I call it, the rigs in Sudan, because Sudan is oil and gas rich, right? Before you realize this, they're gonna start controlling that. Okay, You're gonna start controlling that. But we all know their agenda. We all know what they're up to anyway. So yeah, if it were to be Libya, they wouldn't even wait for one person to be shot. They'll just go. They attacked Gaddafi on the suspicion that Gaddafi is gonna use deadly force on his people, with only suspicion. But here is the military government firing live ammunition into protesters. But there's no NATO. There's no NATO in Sudan at the moment. There's no NATO. So they don't have Africa in the best interest at all. They only do things that benefit them. Things that benefit them. And I mean to their own, dismay, right? Uh, you know, the trade war that's going on between the US and China, okay? I mean, the US is going to lose because China has advanced. Okay, China has advanced. They've played the game of chess very well. They've beaten, they've beaten the US. Okay, they've advanced past the US. Okay, the Chinese economy is far greater than the US economy. You're talking about 1.5 billion plus people spending amongst themselves. You can't compete that. You can't compete against that. And now with the Huawei, Huawei ban. Okay, Huawei is taking the U.S. to court because it was an unlawful ban. Okay, and guess what? Russia has signed a deal with Huawei. Okay, Russia has signed a deal with Huawei. So I mean, the African Union has come to say that they're going to deal with Huawei. They're going to use Huawei for their 5G network. So I mean, the US is going to be left in the dark. Okay, things are going to evolve past them. Okay, people that are so adamant and refusing to change, the whole world is going to evolve past them. Okay, and they're going to be left bitter. Okay, just because they don't want to be better, they're going to be left bitter. Yeah, this was the news I was talking about. The US ambassador caught in Malawi protest. Okay, so this is very similar to when you look at Malawi. Malawi is impoverished. Okay, Malawi is impoverished. This is the country where I read the story of the boy. They made a movie about it, the boy that commands the wind or something of that sort. But the story was it was a like a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old kid that built his own wind turbine. Okay, to harvest water. Okay, for irrigation and improve the livelihood of the community. And guess what? The U.S. or the Canadian government came and took this boy and gave him scholarship in the United States. And this is part of the brain drain. What's happening in Africa? So instead of you've noticed the problem in this part of Africa. Why don't you help them? Why are you stealing the people away? Okay, why are you stealing the people? And this is part of the mental slavery. Okay, in the guise of humanitarian efforts and whatnot. Okay, they're stealing your people away, and people don't even know it that the slave trade is still going on. The slave trade is still going on. The slave trade never ended. It just ended in the books, but it's still going on. Okay, you have like Nigeria being the most brain drained country in the world, the most brain drained country in the world, Nigeria, having more doctors in the United States than in their own country. And guess what? These people are living big in the U.S. They don't want to go back to Nigeria to help build the country. Okay, this is just the effect of brain drain. But anyway, going back to this article and see, this is in reminiscence to or resemblance to the problem in Libya. Okay, the U.S. ambassador I mean, these U.S. ambassadors as well. They go and stay in this deplorable state and don't try anything to improve these people's life. They just stay there. Why? Question is, why did they stay there? Why does a U.S. ambassador have an embassy in a slum? Why would you do that? Just because they don't care. They don't care. As long as they have a representative there, they don't care. Okay, to push their agenda, right? So the U.S. ambassador to Malawi has been forced to hurriedly leave the main opposition party's headquarters as police fired tear gas. Police were firing the tear gas at protesters outside who were demonstrating against alleged election fraud during the 2021 May presidential election. Does this bear resemblance to the election protest in Cameroon? Okay, every time Africa is the only country where they will send like international observers. Does the U.S. accept any international observers of the U.S. election? No, they don't. Why do they always try and push their agenda onto Africa? Anyway, that's why I say the socialist government is the best form of government for Africa, just as China has it. Okay, China is successful as a socialist country. Okay, Russia is successful as a socialist country. Okay, Africa should embrace that. Okay, because the Western ideologies do not work in Africa, and it's anti-African at best. Right, promotes more division, more tribalism than anything else. The heavily armed police surrounded offices of the main opposition Malawi Congress Party, where the ambassador was visiting the leader of opposition, Lazarus Chakwera. So, I mean, why would the U.S. ambassador? What has the U.S. ambassador to do with an opposition leader? This is my question. Why is the U.S. ambassador trying to, make a connection with the opposition leader? Does he want, destabilization of the country? What is he trying to tell the opposition leader? I mean, your ambassador is to respect the country's president, not to visit the opposition leader. You do not have say the president of China, President Xi Jinping, visiting the Donald Trump and then wants to sit down with who? Hillary Clinton. How does that work? How does that work? The U.S., the Chinese president or the Russian president visiting America or the U.S. and wants to sit down with the Democrat Party. This is disrespect. This here alone is disrespect and disregard for the African political structure, right, or leadership. So it was my farewell call, and I was saying thank you for the friendship and for the important role that he does or he has done for Malawi over the 4.5 years I have been in Malawi. So you sit in this deplorable state in Malawi for 4 years, and you enjoy it as a U.S. ambassador. I mean, it's so easy for them to even kill you off, to push their agenda. And what was this? The U.S. ambassador that was killed in Libya? I think something Stevens. Okay. They killed him off, right? They killed him off, right? They allowed it. They knew what was happening in Libya, yet they left him there, and then they killed him off. Just as we finished the meeting, apparently rocks were thrown and the police responded with tear gas. There was tear gas flying around, but my security people came and we proceeded without incident. So Peter Mutharika was named winner in the presidential election, but the opposition refused to recognize the results, and they have been organizing nationwide protests. So yeah, I mean, whenever there's this much level of anger amongst the people, you should know that the US have placed in the puppet government, right? The US have placed a puppet government. And Malawi is such a beautiful, beautiful country. Myself, I used to support a charity organization, and I had a Malawian girl that I used to support, and she used to always write me letters in French. She was so cute. Wow, she was so cute. But yeah, it was only like, $40 a day. I mean, $40 a month. Okay, but I stopped supporting that charity organization when I learned that only $10 makes it to the girl. So that alone is really sad. I donate $40 and only $10 makes it to the girl. I mean, that's really sad. Yeah, at least she was very grateful for what she received, right? So donating $40 a month, $50 a month, and then, I mean, only $10 ends up going to the people you're supporting. That's not right, right? So this takes me to the last double I. What's good, family? Thanks for joining the stream. You're a bit late though. This takes me to the final segment of the stream. I'm trying not to make it too long. Happy Friday, TGIF. The chill time. So yeah, did you miss the U.S. ambassador being chased out of Malawi? Right, that was hilarious, right? Hilarious. So yeah, the final stage, final segment in my thingy. My last stream, I reported on the African Free Trade Agreement, which has been enforced. 22 African countries have ratified the agreement and passed it through their legislature. Okay. So the African Union only needs 22 countries to ratify and for them to progress. In the past, there've been other agreements like this, and only a couple of people or a couple of countries signed it. But the turn up for this signage has been overwhelming. Okay, they needed only 22 countries to sign, and 25 people have signed already. So yeah. So yeah, this article on the 5th of June. Okay, here in picture is the port of Mombasa. Okay, there's been people running the story that China is going to take over the port of Mombasa. I mean, China has so much money, okay, to build 10 times, okay, 10 more ports like this, 10 more ports. Even they have enough money to buy a land, okay, a portion in Ethiopia or Kenya and build their own port if they wanted to. Okay, they're not going to take over your rusty old port. Okay, not to far shots at Kenya, but a lot of the infrastructure in Africa is a little bit lagging. Okay, but yeah. So here in picture is the port of Mombasa in Kenya, which was the first country with Ghana to ratify the African Continental Free Trade Agreement in 2018. So back in 2018, Ghana had already ratified. Okay, so the whole agenda for United Africa, you can see it coming out of Ghana and Ethiopia, so and Kenya for the most part. Work, so Kenya, Ghana, Ethiopia, Sudan, and I'm shocked with Nigeria, but when you have countries like Kenya with former leaders like Uhuru Kenyatta, Ethiopia with Haile Selassie, and Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Those were the founding fathers of the African Union, which is now the African Unity, which is now the African Union. So it's just right by the citizens of these countries, especially Ghana, to continue the agenda of the founding fathers. Okay, it's the only way forward for Africa. Double I. What is this? Comments in the. Chaotic Storm, yes, it's sad. Yes, money grab. Yeah. Chaotic Storm again. Better to do something for them rather than pour money through the company. Yep. Biggest ICE shipment seized today in Melbourne. Oh, you mean ICE? The drugs. Drugs are destroying people's lives in Australia. Yeah. Okay. Australia has a huge number of people dying from drug overdose. They don't talk about it, but yeah, I think close to 1,000 people die of drug overdose in Australia every year. They don't talk about it, right? Whereas in the United States, like nearly 10,000 people die of drug overdose every year. Like 1,000 people die of drug overdose a month. And we all know our favorite actor, Heath Ledger, died of drug overdose as well. But anyway, it's a big problem. Okay, drugs in Australia is a big problem. Okay, especially amongst white people, right? White people. Yeah, they just can't take the stress, right? Can't take the stress. The stress. Did the visa-free travel within Africa materialize? Oh yeah, definitely, brother. I think you missed the last stream. Did you? No, you were in the last stream, but they've signed it, they've ratified, and the African Union have passed it into law. So you will hear a bit of it. So this article is a follow-up on the article I read on Tuesday. So chaotic storm: Ghana, the leader of the West; Ethiopia, the leader of the East; Rwanda, the leader of Middle; and South Africa, the leader of the South. And Egypt would be the leader of the North. You forgot that one, family. You forgot that one. We're not letting, we're not letting go of North Africa. Okay, Africa belongs to us. Okay, we need to embrace North Africa. Okay, we are them. Okay, I personally, I'm not talking about, I'm not being biased or anything. Okay, genetically, I'm 60% Berber. Okay, 60% Berber, not Berber North African. I have I have family in Morocco, Algeria. So my Algerian family is Mozabite. My Moroccan family is Berber, and Egyptian family is Berber. So I mean, there's no way I'm gonna disconnect myself from North Africa. And there are so many people in Africa that are very connected to North Africa as well. Uh, don't follow what you see on the news. I just showed you how Sudanese people look like. Okay, these are people of Sudan. Okay, these are people of Sudan, black people. Okay, don't let the media show you light-skinned Sudanese people and you think these are Sudanese. Okay, these are North Africans. So these are Sudanese people. I'm not talking about South Sudanese. These are Sudanese people. Okay, and these same people look like this in Egypt as well. You go to Libya, you see people like this. You go to Morocco, you see people like this. You go to Algeria, you see people like this. Okay, so do not disconnect from North Africa. All right. So yeah, I know I have roots there too. Yeah, if you do your DNA, you might find it there, bro. Most of us do. Okay. Mostly North West Africa is basically North Africans that moved down south to West Africa because of the desert, right? The drawing of Lake Chad, okay, caused a lot of migrations. It further south because of the desert. So yeah. So yeah, coming back to the article with the African free trade. Okay, here's the port of Mombasa. Okay, more work lies ahead to make Africa's new free trade area succeed. Frank Matthias. Let's see. Um, Whoever is new to the stream, please subscribe, like the stream, and share with friends and bring your friends in. I'm still trying to invite more people to come in. Bye. Yeah. Sorry, just a little break, family. All right, so Sudanese look more like Ethiopians. And mind you, Ethiopia was the birthplace for humanity. So, you know, chaotic storm. You're like, my bad. Yeah, you're totally right. Double I, it's a shame that Europeans can travel freely within Europe, but Africans cannot even travel to their neighboring country. Things are changing, double I. Things are changing. Africans are traveling already in West Africa. Okay, it's a norm in West Africa now. Africans travel in and out of countries in West Africa. But the African free trade is a game changer. Okay, because Africans trade more with outsiders than they trade amongst themselves, and things are about to change. Currently, I think Africa trades with only 16% amongst other African countries, and then what, 84% with the outside world. So things are changing in the minus Ghana, which I found out the other day that Ghana trades about 56% with South Africa, so which is really great. But the African free trade is going to be a great game changer, which would, you know, eventually, liberate Africa economically. Yeah. So at the time when the global trade regime is under attack, we're talking about the trade wars going on at the moment between China and the U.S. and then now the U.S. and Mexico. But yeah, the U.S. is fighting a losing battle. The U.S. is fighting a losing battle. They're trying so hard to cling on to power and global domination, but they're failing. Okay, they're going to fail. At the time when the global trade regime is under attack, the African Union, AU, is celebrating the establishment of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFGFTA. That's going to be a C, sorry. AFCFTA, African Continental Free Trade Area, which came into effect on the 30th of May. After being ratified by the required minimum 22 nations, all the member states of the African Union are now legally bound to allow African goods to be traded without restraint throughout the continent. Yes. This is an impressive achievement. AFCFTA not only covers the entire continent, but has proceeded at a record pace. It was signed on the 21st of March 2018. Its entry into force underlines African leaders' commitment to Pan-African economic integration. Okay, this is all that we've been pushing for: Pan-African economic integration, right? A goal as old as the African independence in the 1960s. So the vision of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He said on that day, he said, today the freedom of Africa, tomorrow the United States of Africa. All right, I will never forget that. Right, you shouldn't forget that as well. Cape Crusher. The reason Africa took this long to create this is because of the West sabotaged this plan when Africa built their own economic plan back in the 1980s. It wasn't even in the 1980s, family. It was in the 60s. Nkrumah already outlined, okay, the economic plan for Africa. Okay, Nkrumah already did that. But guess what? They had to try and kill Nkrumah. Okay, they killed Gamal Nasser of Egypt. Patrice Lumumba had to be killed. Thomas Sankara had to be killed. A whole lot of people had to go just to push the Western propaganda, so, and to sabotage the African Union. But things are changing. Okay, times have changed. Intra-regional trade has long been minimal in Africa, standing at 13% for intra-import and 17% for intra-exports. This is really sad. So all collectively, all Africans collectively imported together, okay, imported within other African countries, okay, 13%, and exported only 17% to other African countries. This is really sad. When Europe trade, intra-trade or between Europe is at 60%. In Asia is like 50 something percent. Okay. Why is Africa at least not even 30%? This is 13%, less than 20%. This is really sad. And you see how the Western countries manipulate Africa, right? So yeah, Africa is not allowed to be economically, liberated. That's that. No. The Europeans don't want that. No. The Europeans don't want that at all. But things are changing, right? Things are changing. So over the last 7 years, right? Earlier continental trade initiatives such as the 1980 Lagos Plan of Action and the 1991 African Economic Community have lagged far behind their ambitions. However, the practical implications of the continental free trade area are not immediate. Significant work is required to deliver tangible results. Negotiations on tariffs, timelines, and the seat of the AFCFTA Secretariat are still ongoing, and without effective public policies, liberalizing trade risks have negative implications for many people on the continent, especially Nigeria. Nigeria is very, very scared because Nigeria even imports toothpick. Nigeria imports toothpick. So if you go to Nigeria now and say, "Hey, look, Nigeria, Malawi can make your toothpick for you," guess what's going to happen to the toothpick manufacturer in Europe or wherever? And toothpick costs like Nigeria like 60, some huge amount of money, like in billions a year. Why are you making toothpick? Why are you importing toothpick when Africa has all the trees that you need to make toothpick? This is really sad. So you can see why Nigeria did not sign the agreement, but guess what? The African Union only needs 22 countries to ratify, and Nigeria has to join. Nigeria has no options now. They have no backing anymore. Okay, they there's only one option for them, and that's to join the African Free Trade Agreement. So we're going to see a whole lot of significant changes in Nigeria. There's going to be a lot of disruption to the Western establishment in Nigeria, which a country that is so rich in natural resources, okay, so rich in natural resources, has great disparity when it comes to the rich and the poor, right? So things will change. We're going to see, the West are not going to leave without a fight. But I hope the AU have their eyes open, especially when I read to you the last time I just seen Ghana discovered oil for 8 years. Okay, where the international companies drilling for the oil made nearly $24 billion in 8 years, and Ghana was only able to tap $4 billion. Less than one fifth of the total revenue. Okay, I mean, how can you have that? Okay, how can you have that? Right? You have the natural resources, but then you only get 20%, less than 20% of the revenue generated from that natural resource. I mean, this is really sad, right? This is sad, and you expect Africa to develop, right? Negotiations on tariff timelines, blah blah blah. Okay, I've read that. I need to plug my laptop. Sorry. Give me a moment. Right. Crisis averted. Establishing regional economic communities across the continent has produced a complex pattern of overlapping but inconsequential trade regimes. The only functioning customs union on the continent remains the 109-year-old Southern African Customs Union, an imperial relic that is dominated by South Africa. The last large-scale attempt to liberalize trade in Africa, the Tripartite Agreement, covering most of the Eastern and Southern Africa, was launched in 2015. Only 4 out of 27 countries ratified. So yeah, and the agreement was yet another hyped but ultimately stillborn initiative. So basically, it didn't take effect. After a disappointing track record of the African trade agreements, the AU is convinced that the African free trade area is finally the silver bullet. Indeed, it is, right? Because 22 African countries, 54 countries, 52 African countries signed out of 55, and it was Eritrea, Nigeria, and I think Benin, but they'll be forced to sign. After seeing everybody's on board, they're gonna join. Okay. After this, indeed, there are some encouraging signs that the stars are aligning favorably for Africa. I mean, it's Africa's time. Okay, the time is now for Africa. Cape Crusher, yes, the Lagos Plan of Action 1980, which IMF hated and was against in 1991, the African Economic Community. Yeah. I mean, like, doesn't it make sense the IMF would promote more economic development in Africa? I mean, the loans the IMF give to Africa, they do not amount to economic liberation at all. They're basically like handouts. They do not build anything, right? And guess what? The IMF makes a lot of money from the offshore. I mean, the African leaders that save money in the European banks in the first place. When you have the French-speaking African countries saving the money in France, come on. So basically, they steal from us and they give us little trickles, and then they like they don't even have the decency to call it a free gift. The Swiss banks, that's it. Cape Crusher, that's it. The Swiss banks. Okay, the Swiss bank has like Gaddafi has like $300 million frozen in Swiss bank. Okay, what is his name? I think the former president of Egypt. I think the one that was ousted before Mubarak. I think Mubarak also has his money in Swiss bank. I think, is it Idi Amin? The one in Congo, what was his name? Mobutu Sese Seko also has his money in millions frozen in Swiss bank. So billions of Africans' money are frozen in Swiss bank. Billions. And these people are making interest, huge interest off of the monies in the savings. And they don't even have the decency to return it back to Africans. So yeah. Sudan might become the new Libya, which is another problem Africa cannot afford. Libya and Sudan being lawless will create another humanitarian crisis. I mean, the problem in Sudan is not the first. We talked about this. We talked about this. The Darfur. Okay, Sudan is not a strategic area for the Europeans, so they're not gonna worry too much about that. But Libya was. I know South Sudan has a huge oil deposit, which South Sudan might be an interest for the West as well. So they're going to try and push their agenda in there. I I read somewhere that Canada is now dealing with, Canada is dealing with Ethiopia at the moment. So, I mean, we're going to see what they're going to be doing. They're going to be pushing a whole lot of the agenda forward. Yeah, and I know Somalia was because of the the Gulf. The Gulf. Somalia is a strategic position for them because of the Suez Canal. Okay, that's why they try and destabilize Somalia. So they rule around that area, and and yeah. But yeah, as it is, I mean, Gaddafi didn't even kill 100 and didn't even kill anybody. It was just speculation. Gaddafi was going to kill his people, and then boom, they started dropping bombs in Libya. First they attacked the Libyan Air Force, so the Libyans cannot fly the jet fighters. Okay, they bombed the airport, the Libyan airport. NATO bombed the Libyan airport first, so the Libyan Air Force cannot fly. And then they moved on to support the rebel groups and kill Gaddafi, right? Right. To no avail, really. Totally destroying the country, right? But here's the case where you have the Sudanese crisis. You have both early on. Where is NATO? There was no NATO. There's no NATO in Sudan. There's no NATO flying the jet fighters and bombing Sudan because it's a strategic position for them. Okay, it's not in their own interest. Okay, it's not in interest. It's not in their interest. Right. So now with the African Free Trade Agreement, okay, they will have to bomb Ghana. They will have to go bomb Ethiopia. They will have to go bomb Kenya. Okay, and it's something they cannot do. So it's just something they cannot do. That's why when we're united, we have so many heads. Okay, you cut one head, there's still like another 53 heads to cut. So I mean, you can't do that. All right, but if you are a lone wolf, okay, you get taken out. You get taken out. Easy. You get taken out. And this is what unions are for, right? This is what unions are for. So where was I? Read the tripartite. After a disappointing track record of African trade agreements, the AU is convinced that the African Continental Free Trade Area is finally the silver bullet. Indeed, there are some encouraging signs that the stars are aligning favorably for Africa. So again, this is the time for Africa. Okay, this is the time for Africa. At the time in the World Trade Organization, at the time when the World Trade Organization has proclaimed the worst crisis in global trade since 1947, and in a context of China and the US waging trade disputes, African governments are collectively swimming against the stream. So this again takes me to Game of Thrones, right? Okay, in the Game of Thrones, okay, the winner is the one who doesn't play. So let them fight themselves, okay, let them nuke themselves, okay. Africa will be building slowly, okay. Africa will be building slowly. That's it. And as it was in the past, okay, as it was in the past, as the whole world was running around clubbing themselves, okay, Africa was building civilizations, okay, and that led to Egypt, okay, our greatest civilization, or the greatest civilization ever on the planet, that has lasted for 5,000 years. 5,000 years. Okay, 5,000 years. You have dynasties ruling for thousands of years, bringing prosperity, to Africa. So this is what we can achieve when we're united as African people. Right? So yeah. Again, at the time when the World Trade Organization has proclaimed the worst crisis in global trade since 1947, and in the context of China and the US waging trade disputes, African governments are collectively swimming against the stream. Okay, and this is a trade dispute, okay, that the US is not going to win, because the US started trade war against Huawei, okay, Huawei, but then guess what? Russia has signed Huawei. Russia has signed Huawei. So I mean, look, these people are BFFs. China and Russia are BFFs. Okay, they're gonna help each other against and work against the US, and US is gonna be by itself when the whole world pull or wash the dirt off their face. Okay, they're gonna see who the real enemy is. Okay, who the real enemy is. The AU leadership has been eager to push a long-term integration agenda and an institutional reform agenda, but it has struggled with what Rwandan President Paul Kagame, in his role as AU chairperson in 2018, called a crisis of implementation. The reform process aims to focus the AU on fewer priorities and to make the AU Commission more efficient in steering integration. It also seeks to make the AU central budget financially independent from international partners. This plan has struck a chord with many member states and the AU Commission, creating a continental free trade area fits well into the strategy. Why AFCFTA is different. Adherence to AFCFTA has become a competition for the title of who is the best Pan-Africanist. So I mean, yeah, this is awesome, right? This peer pressure to jump on the train before it leaves the station is behind the agreement's rapid ratification. I mean, this is positive. This is beautiful language here. Okay, who is the best Pan-Africanist? I mean, so this peer pressure to jump on a train before it leaves this station is behind the agreement's rapid ratification. The free trade area aspires to a membership of 55 highly diverse countries. So yeah, this seems arbitrary from an economic point of view. However, it corresponds to and will likely benefit from an increasingly recognized and institutionalized continentalist interpretation of Africa. AFCFTA is also vague enough to appeal to advocates of both trade liberalization and economic protectionism. At this stage, it is still possible for it to become either a stepping stone towards global integration or a barrier against business from outside the continent. We do not want global integration, okay? We just want African integration, please, okay? Fix yourself first before you're trying to fix others, okay? AU, okay, please. We do not want global integration, okay? We want African integration. All right, right. Obstacles to overcome. In practice, trade in Africa did not change overnight on May 30 or 30th of May. 3 key obstacles must still be overcome. If they are not, the deal may follow the same path as the ill-fated agreements that have gone before it. Firstly, AFGFTA has put the cart before the horse. Although it is now in force, many of the actual rules still need to be agreed upon. The process of negotiating rules of origin, tariff schedules, and service sector concessions will be long and cumbersome. African states often lack the expertise or capacity to conduct such negotiations. International partners like European Union and Germany have flocked to the AU Commission in large numbers to support the AF. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous that you allow these people, European Union, okay, headed by France, okay, what is the name? Emmanuel Macron, calling for a European Renaissance. Okay. Germany, I can understand they're a bit liberal, but not France. France is not liberal. France is still colonizing Africa till date, stealing $500 billion out of Africa every year. Okay, you're still gonna let them in. Okay, if I were at the African Union, just deal with China. Just only deal with China. Cut every tie with Europe. Just cut every tie with Europe. Okay. They don't have Africa in the best interest. Anyway, let's have a look at the comments. Let's see how much more to read. I mean, the article is nearly done, and I'll have a look at the comments. Okay. So yeah, I'm just against. I mean, we want more African integration. Okay. We want to exclude the world. Okay. We want just African integration. Okay. Let us fix ourselves without foreign interference. Okay. You have the European Union and Germany. Okay. Okay, interfering. So international partners like European Union, but then they also fund the African Development Bank. So that's really tricky, not to allow them in. But there need to be conditions. Okay, there need to be conditions placed on them. You do not have the European Union's partner being the African Union, though. You don't have that. They don't allow you in their circles, but they want to be in your circle. This needs to stop. Okay, moving on. Their support will likely be fragmented through the development of the consultant and technical assistance. This does not bode well with or for the ownership of the AFCFTA by AU member states and the AU Commission. Of course, it doesn't. Secondly, AFCFTA is facing challenges regarding its governance. The details of its secretariat are yet to be thrashed out. What we do know is that the secretariat will be a semi-autonomous organ of the AU, and the 6 countries are competing, to host it. Okay, I'm not sure who the 6 countries are. The likely geographical distance from AU headquarters in Ethiopia will complicate coordination with the Continental body's policy. Agenda budget cuts to the AU's Department of Trade and Industry further hamper transitory facilitation of the AFCFTA. Finally, the free trade area will invariably pose economic challenges in AU member states, of course, yeah. The promise of free trade agreement is to create wealth through increased competition, the equalization of wages, and the substitution of domestic labor with imported goods. Yeah, we welcome that. International experience shows that the gains tend to be unequally distributed, especially if a free trade area involves a large amount of diverse economies. Entire economic sectors and communities can be heavily affected by downside, wage cuts, unemployment, and environmental degradation. Questions abound. How will governments manage AFCFTA's winners and losers when existing social protections are weak and informal markets dominate many sectors, while governments will respect the agreement even if it hurts some of their businesses and state companies? And how will they deal with the loss of customs revenue? Nigeria's internal disputes and protectionism are a case in point. Yeah, it's always about Nigeria, right? The road ahead to an effective free trade agreement that delivers results to Africa or Africans is still long. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it just takes unity. Okay. The article is finished. Okay. The article is done. It takes unity. Okay. There's always strength in unity. in unity we can fix all our problems. Okay, let the other countries' burdens be your burden. So Nigeria, okay, Nigeria having so much money, okay, let Niger be your problem, okay, and Niger's problem should be Nigeria's problem. We can all fix each other. Ethiopia's problem is Somalia's problem. Somalia's problem is Ethiopia's problem. Because guess what? If there's a war in Ghana, okay, you're gonna have refugees pouring into Togo. You're gonna have refugees pouring into La Cote d'Ivoire. So why would you allow there to be a war in Ghana? Okay. So I mean, unity is only the only way we can fix it. Look at Europe now. The US failed. They tried to remove Assad. They failed, and it created a migrant crisis in Europe. So yeah. So this I think I'm done. I'm done. I'm gonna put this article in the description box. This is an old article, 31st of. It's not that old. Okay, a few days back, but yeah, 31st of May. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the in the description box. You can have a look at it yourself. But Eritrea, Nigeria, and Benin outsiders from Africa Free Trade Zone, AFT. But you know they're gonna sign, okay, because Nigeria just had the election, and Buhari is gonna sign and ratify. But then it's only because you know Nigeria relies heavily on exports from Europe and elsewhere other than within Africa, okay, which is very, very sad. Okay, the giant of Africa, you know, the superpower of Africa, okay, it's just a shame. It's a sellout, right? So yeah, if they care so much about Africa, they're gonna sign. They're just gonna sign. And Eritrea, I can kind of understand Eritrea. You know, they are just a new country, you know, and there's a lot of political, you know, turmoil going on there. So they just got to fix themselves. But in Benin as well, I can understand Benin being, you know, being a French country or French colonized French country, and then Benin relies heavily on their port. Okay, their port. I think there's a free port in Benin where I think people don't pay taxes. Okay, on the goods imported into Benin from Europe. So you know, people in Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, they all source their products through Benin, some through Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, but it's cheaper to source it from Benin. So they don't want that to affect their economy at the moment. But once they start seeing, so I'm pretty sure gradually they're going to be trading with Africa and going to see the benefits, and then they're going to phase out. Right. So the African free trade, when you look at the African map, when you look at the African map, okay, the African free trade, what's this? We're looking at the African map here, okay. When you look at the African map, okay, you have Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, South Sudan, Eritrea, Djibouti. By the way, Djibouti is the only access to the ocean by Ethiopia, and I see why Ethiopia wanted to claim Eritrea, because they wanted access to the ocean here, the Red Sea, right? You have Somalia, and you have Kenya, you have Tanzania, you have Mozambique, South Africa, you have Eswatini, Angola, Zambia, Zimbabwe, if I'm right, Angola, and then you have the Congo, you know. So all these countries that are landlocked, okay, the African free trade is going to really help them. Rwanda right here, Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda, you know, all these Central African Republic, all these countries that are landlocked are going to benefit a whole lot from the African free trade. Yeah, so it's basically going to look like the United States of America, and which is basically in the United States of Africa. So it's going to be very similar occurrences happening, except it's going to be done the African way. So anyway, I'm done with my stream. I think I've had enough. I'm sure you guys have had enough as well. You guys are tired, so we'll call it a night for now. We'll come back to the comments at the moment. Let's see. I'll end the screen share and come back to myself now. All right, I'm back. So how are you doing, guys, in the chat? Thank you all for joining the stream. Cape Crusher, thanks family. Thanks for the support. I am excited. Okay, I'm excited. The movement is alive. The movement is moving forward. Okay. I am so pro-black, right? So pro-African. That's it. Right. In all my endeavors, right? I want to see Africa on top, right? I want to see Africa succeed. You know, and it's up to us to go and build Africa. All right, it's up to us. All right, enough of the brain drain. Okay, enough of the brain drain. Myself, you know, I have a lot of land inherited. You know, I've inherited a lot of land from my family in Ghana. You know, my grandfather, who is American, by the way, my grandfather's American. He managed to have a lot of land in Ghana, and my mom as well. My mom's family have land. You know, so yeah. And land is wealth. Okay, your wealth is in land. Your wealth is not in your car. So yeah, we will go back to Africa. We will go back to Africa, and we shall build. All right, we shall build. All right, and the time for action is now. Okay, so I have planned that you know, next year I need to start making moves to go back. Maybe you should visit Virginia one day. I should visit Virginia one day as well. That's where my grandfather comes from. Yeah, so my grandfather was from Richmond, Virginia. Right, Richmond, Virginia, and yeah, he tried to settle in Liberia before, and then it didn't work out, and he made his way. I think it was during the Civil War, so he made his way to Ghana. Okay, and then he lived in Ghana for a long time, and he died in Ghana. So I mean, he's buried in Ghana. So yeah, you know, my story is not the only story of being a descendant of African Americans that have moved to the continent. Okay, there are thousands and thousands of African Americans living in Ghana. Okay, and guess what? There's so many children, or they have so many children in Ghana at the moment. So, and throughout the continent as well. So yeah, I mean, people have been moving to Africa for a long time now, and don't be in the dark. Okay, don't be in the dark. I'm gonna respond to the comments shortly. Yeah, so sorry about the awkward silence. Yeah, so going back to the comments. Okay, let's have a look at the comments. Geez, this is a very active comment tonight. I like it. So where did I leave off? Swiss bank. Yeah, that's where the African governments are saving their money. Ridiculous, isn't it? It's stupid, really. It's stupid. But you know, when you talk about corruption in Africa, okay, you hear saying that African countries are corrupt or African leaders are corrupt, but guess what? You know, it goes two ways, right? African countries are corrupt. I mean, African leaders are corrupt, but you entertain them in Europe. Okay, you let them come into Europe. You let them spend their money in Europe, right? So I mean, the corruption is on both sides. Okay, the corruption is on both sides. The criminals came from Europe. We know that very well. It's documented. So Sudan might become the new Libya, which is another problem for Africa. Another problem Africa cannot afford. Libya and Sudan being lawless will create another humanitarian crisis. Yes, that's why Abiy Ahmed is going there. It's been the topic, when talking about um, the the progress in East Africa, Abiy Ahmed being the center of it, unifying East African countries. Okay, they do not want the problem in Sudan to escalate. Okay, then you're gonna have people from Sudan trying to go into South Sudan, and it's gonna disrupt the very reason why South Sudan separated anyway. So they have to try and fix it as soon as possible. They have to really remove that civil military government in Sudan and establish a civilian government, or a government that the people want. So yeah, I wish the AU actually has an army to to enforce that. But yeah, I know the ECOWAS has a military agreement and stuff like that. So I'm not too sure about East Africa. Um, Ghana I think Ghana was very heavy with the UN, and Ghana used to send peacekeeping missions to different parts of Africa. But I'm not sure the situation with that at the moment, because I didn't see that happen in Libya. So I don't think that is in effect at the moment. Um, yeah, address the IMF. It is good the AU suspended Sudan's membership. Yeah. When will Africans be free of leaders who think leadership is a personal means to wealth and power? See, that's why the producers' lives in Uganda, a producer's life in Uganda. Thanks for joining the stream, beautiful sister. Don't forget to thumbs up. Yes, please. Thumbs up and share the stream. Okay, please. Thanks for joining the stream. Now, where was I? Got distracted a bit. I got distracted. Okay, so keep the money in Africa. Yes, that's the sole purpose of the African free trade. So we keep the money in Africa. Yes, but terrorism will take control of the power vacuum. Yeah. Okay, and that's what I was saying before. You're gonna have the people moving from the Sudan region. Okay, rebels will be forming and stuff like that. And that's the reason why the border between Ethiopia and Eritrea was closed anyway, because it's gonna there's still a little bit of unrest which they haven't resolved yet. So we're gonna try and fix that before they proceed. What was ISIS might get into Sudan if it's already not there. Yeah, it's not really ISIS at the moment. I think ISIS have been restricted to Syria at the moment, but we're talking about, and who knows, in Libya now. There's segments of ISIS in Libya, but we're talking about Al Shabaab, in Somalia and stuff like that might make their way into Sudan. Yeah. Cut off the CIA route. Yeah, the CIA from US, right? These thieves will get their money back any way possible. No money sent to Africa stays in Africa. They can fund corrupt leaders and take their assets back. Exactly, right? Chaotic Storm, thanks for that. Cave Crusher, cut off the beast and sell US treasuries and dump the dollar. Yeah, that's what Gaddafi was going to do, and then they took him out, right? They cannot afford to bomb and destabilize the rest of Africa. It will cost them more blood. Europe and US are dying empires. Exactly. I mean, if anything, they should learn a lot from the migrant crisis from Syria. So yeah, I'm sure they've learned a lot from that, and from Libya as well. The boats pouring on the shores of Libya have not stopped. Okay, they keep going. Okay, and it's really, really destabilizing Europe. So they need to change the strategy. I mean, these people, if you're doing something for so long and it's not working, change strategy. But in being, they're trying to be smart, but they're being stupid at the same time, right? But yeah, a greedy person will stuff food in themselves and kill themselves with that. So a greedy person will choke on his food, on his own food. So, yeah, one puppet to the next. Give Crusher. The West will see their precious Western systems crumble. Karma is coming, and blood is on their hands. Yeah, of course. In life, it's a cycle. Life is a cycle. Okay, what goes around comes around. But yeah, basically karma, right? It will come back to them. Chaotic storm again is the environment in Africa. You cannot be sad when in Africa, beautiful, rich environment and a great place to build societies and empires. Yeah, hell yeah, beautiful Africa. Africa is so beautiful. AU will be self-funded with 0.2 levy. Yeah, no more aid from Europe, of course. Cave Crusher again. It's about time Africa take destiny for their own economic agenda, because the ones who funds controls the agenda, and they have been sabotaging the AU for too long. Exactly, like the EU, the EU has been sabotaging Africa for too long. Germany committed atrocities in Africa. I mean, you don't go. These African leaders, I just don't understand them. Why do you go back to your killer to help you? Someone that has been killing you for centuries. Why do you go back to them to help you? Do you really think they're gonna help you? I know the world is changing, but you know, it's only Africans that forget who their enemies are. Only Africans. Only Africans do that. Double I, you still here? Every day, not every day, every time we celebrate Anzac Day. Every day we celebrate Anzac. Okay. What they say the most is, what is it? Let me come back to the recent comments. Okay. When we celebrate Anzac, Anzac is basically the Australian New Zealand Army Corps. Okay, the joint force between the New Zealand force and the Australian force fighting Turkey in Gallipoli. Okay, First World War, I think 1918. Yeah, so they suffered a defeat. Okay, they were embarrassed. Okay, they had to pack their bags and leave. But anyway, they always say what? Lest we forget. That's what they say. Lest we forget. They don't want to forget. They never want to forget. But black people are the only people that forget who their enemy is. It's really sad. It's really sad. But guess what? The Chinaman never forgets who's the enemy. The North Korea that don't forget who the enemy is. They don't. Even Japanese people, as liberal as Japanese people are today, they still don't forget that the US dropped atomic bomb on them. They don't forget that. I've been to Japan 3 times. Okay. I know the younger generation now are more caught up in like social media. What's her name? That blonde girl, Taylor Swift or something. Okay, they're so caught up in that. Every one of them want to be white. Okay, the younger generation, right? But the older people never forgot. I've been to Hiroshima. There are people like I've been told not to speak loudly about the war situation or the World War II and that, because there are people that are still alive. Okay, the people that have lost like close relatives. So you can't. People, they don't forget. These people don't forget. but only Africans forget. That's right, Chaotic Storm. Never forget. We never forget. This should be what should be the motto for the African Union. Never forget. We should never forget. The United States is not your friend. They're not your friends. Europe is not your friend. So it just saddens me when I see the news and Ghanaian president is entertaining the French president after all that he's been saying. You know, calling the British, saying that Ghana and Britain have a common history. The common history is you were a slave and they were your master. That's the common history that you have. Yeah. There's no questions there. You can't tolerate that. They were your masters. You was a slave for hundreds of years, nearly half a millennia. They were kicking your ass. So yeah, I mean, they're real suck-ups, man. Complete suck. They kind of man up like China. Kind of man up like China. You know, they should learn. They should learn from China. So yeah, removing Mubarak did nothing for Egypt. He was replaced by another dictator after many lives lost. Yeah. They removed Mubarak and then they installed what's his name, Mohammed Morsi. Okay, Mohammed Morsi from the Muslim Brotherhood. All right. So they wanted to replace the whole of North Africa with the Muslim Brotherhood, but it didn't work out. Thank God it didn't work out. Right. Yeah, all thanks to this General El-Sisi, who is now the president of Egypt at the moment. Yeah. So that failed, and it was all Obama's agenda, right? All the Obama's agenda. Sudan, okay, right that. Where am I now? Chaotic storm is the environment in Africa. You cannot be sad when Africa is beautiful region. Okay, I read that. AU will be self-funded. Okay, I read that. Africa needs sovereignty and autonomy from these colonizers. Of course, we just need to shut the door to everybody else and trade within ourselves. So I see it coming. I see it coming with the AU. Okay, we shut the door. Okay, that's what China did. And shut the door and trade amongst ourselves. We already have the technology, we have the ingenuity, we have the bright minds, okay, to do things for ourselves, and we can do it. So Europe is desperate, Cave Crusher. Of course they are. With the Brexit at the moment, okay, with the Brexit at the moment, they're gonna be more desperate and they're gonna be very vigorous and they're gonna be like snakes, right? They're gonna be like snakes, appearing to be harmless, but they're very, very deadly. But Tune this one, you're here. Thanks for joining the stream, family. I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? I'm not against homosexuality, none of my business, but please keep it behind closed doors. Yeah, word. Not in public, please. I mean, you don't, like, again, coming back to the article, you don't need to go in public and say, well, you're going to rock Ethiopia. I mean, come on. Seriously? Keep it in your bedroom. Don't bring it here. Benin will join when Nigeria joins. Okay, we're yet to see that, Cape Crusher. Nigeria will sign and ratify this month, July. Foolishness needs to stop. Yeah, you hear that, Niger? Okay, if you're Nigerian, please stop the foolishness. Okay, it's how can you be trading 80% with Europe? Okay, how can you be importing toothpicks from Europe? How? I mean, it's a disgrace. When your president Buhari is driving in $170,000 US dollar car, at the expense of you guys. So yeah, it's a shame, right? Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah, I read that. Do you see yourself in politics? Double I, do you see yourself in politics in the future? No, but I do have a mate that that's in politics. My Nigerian friend. He used to be a junior labor. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I look down on politicians. I do. I don't hold politicians in a high regard. I detest them really because they're liars really. But there are a few of them that make me excited, like the president of Namibia. Uh, what's his name? Hage. Uh, Magufuli or no? Is it Magufuli? No, Magufuli is Tanzania. I can't say the Rwandan's president, Paul Kagame, Abiy Ahmed. I'm not a great favor of Uhuru Kenyatta. I mean, but you know, LCC of Egypt. I think the Ghanaian president is more of like a Western puppet than anything else. Because how can you be president of a country that has discovered oil? Okay, upon all your education, I mean, Nana Akufo-Addo is so highly educated, and you've discovered oil in the past 8 years. You've discovered oil. You've made $24 billion in revenue, and you only have $4 million as your take. And then what? $19 million or $20 million goes to the Western government. That's just a shame, right? That is a shame. Producers life in Uganda. Where are you right now? Can you take a guess? Can you take a guess? Naima Bakna, thanks for joining the stream. Chief. Yeah. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm quite edible, aren't I? Yeah. So yeah, again, do you see yourself in politics? Possibly no. I'll be on the sideline. Okay, I'll be a critic, more like a critic. Okay. But yeah, if anything, I can see myself pushing political agendas. But I like to build. I like to be on the ground and build. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm an engineer by nature. I like to build stuff. So if anything, I would want to build. I wouldn't want to build more than being a politician who gives vague, promises. Like I'm a man of action. Okay, so I don't think politics would be my ideal path really. But definitely, I'll critique anyone, right? Or I'll probably need to get a qualification where I'll be an advisor or something. I'll be an advisor or an attorney or something. But I need to study law anyway. And when you look at the ambassador of the African Union to the US, Chihambori, I can't pronounce her name. Yeah, she was a medical doctor. So I mean, if you're smart enough, you can do anything basically. So Cave Crusher, black people wake up. Okay, boom, black people wake up. Stop serving others, being used to serving others and going against your own interests. Okay, it's been what it is. Okay, they've used us greatly against ourselves. Another thing is, they've tried so hard, but it's basically it now comes down to us. Okay, right from the 1600. Again, we're talking about 1400, 14th century Mansa Musa. Okay, being to date, he's the richest man that ever lived. The Mali Empire. Okay, if he hadn't gone to Mecca with all this gold and showing off his wealth. Okay, he could have kept the money. Okay, in Africa. Okay, where he showed his wealth to the world, and then the whole world is like, oh, we want some of that. So it just led to an invasion of Africa, really. Right? Africa had the first university, Timbuktu, okay, mega cities. You know, Kumasi was a mega city. The city of Benin was a mega city. Okay, we showed our wealth, and it came for us, right? So we need to contain our wealth. Don't show off your wealth. Okay, do not show your wealth. Invest your wealth in things that cannot be moved, right? Things that cannot be moved. Your wealth needs to stay forever for your future generations. If you have money, don't spend your money on cars, because the way to the future now, cars are changing. You know, every now and then, don't spend your money getting the latest mobile phones and stuff like that. Save that money, buy a piece of land. You cannot move a piece of land. That's where your wealth is, right? That's where your wealth is. A produces life. Yeah, two guesses. Kenya, States. Nah, I am in, drum roll, Australia, right? In Australia. So yeah. Don't show off bling and gold and gold teeth. Yeah, and this is what they do, right? This is what they do. You know, people have gold teeth that's worth an estate. You know, why do you have gold grills in your mouth when you can invest that into a business? You know, it's irrelevant. You know, it's irrelevant. I try to fix. I do have gap teeth. When I was younger, you know, I get teased that I have gap teeth. I've got tic tac teeth. Bugs. They call me all sort of name, Bugs Bunny, whatnot. So when I had a bit of money, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fix my teeth. So I had this a line, they call it Invisalign. So it's clear braces, and that cost me out of my pocket. It cost me like $6,000, $6,000 at a time, and I had to pay it myself. You know, I was working, so I had to pay for that myself. And then after that, my teeth started moving again anyway. So I'm just like, yeah, screw it. But yeah, I wish I had invested the money into something else, right? Yeah. So it doesn't really matter, okay? Doesn't really matter. I wish I had invested the money into something that would give me better dividends, not although a beautiful smile is nice, but it's not the best investment you can ever make, right? I thought of it, okay. As I grew older, okay, I thought I could do better. So instead of buying, you know, a better sports car, okay, I have a Honda Civic, 1998 Honda Civic now, and I have invested all my money into my home, my mortgage. So yeah, and now I'm glad I took the right approach, okay, and my house now is worth almost $1 million. So give it 5 more years, and if I should sell my house, I'll be a millionaire. So yeah, best investment ever I ever made in property. So double I, black youth are lost. They are role models, are gangster lifestyle. Yeah, I think that I don't know how long you've been in Australia, but when you're going back to like early 2000s, so like 2003, 2004, like the Sudanese always want to like dress like 50 Cent, okay? But that has faced away now. Okay, they seen the reality now. Okay, nobody walks around town dressing like 50 Cent. But you see the people we call the bogans. Okay, people from like rural Australia. They're the ones that try to dress like that. But you know, Africans are moved away from stuff like I've seen great, you know, development, you know, progress when it comes to African Australians. If there's anything of that, you know, everyone is really busy looking for working as far as I know, right? The Sudanese youth still admire and like that American gangster culture. It's true. Okay, it's true. We can't deny that. The Sudanese have they to the point they have their own rap culture as well. They've which they adopted from the US. But yeah, it's really sad they're doing that, but yeah, this is what the media sells to them. This is what the media sells to them, and they buy it, and then the same media use it to demonize them, right? Use it to demonize them. So I'm referring to gold teeth worn by rappers. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the gold teeth can probably buy a house. Yeah. That's psychological warfare, gang bang culture. Of course it is. Okay. They depopulation. That's what it is. Go kill yourself. Do the dirty work for us. That's it. All right. And they come around and gentrify your communities. Okay. And if you're stupid enough, if you're stupid not to see it, it's on you. Okay. It's on you to see. It's a ploy. The ploy. It produces life in Uganda. What did the braces improve your life? But did the braces improve your life and well-being? No, it didn't. I'll be honest. Okay, like I said, my teeth is moving again because since I took them off, my tooth is moved. I have a lot of gaps in my teeth. Yeah. But yeah, my teeth is moved, and if I have to go, I have to spend more money to fix it. I needed It got to a point where I finished the braces program, and it cost me $6,000, and they said I needed to fix a crown or something, and then get metallic braces behind the teeth, and that was going to set me back another $3,000. So if I add it all together, it's going to be like $10,000. And I said, no, please, no thanks, no more. I'm not going to spend any more money, at least not now. Okay, when I become a millionaire, I probably would, but I'm not going to spend another $3,000 when my mortgage is waiting for me, to be paid. So yeah, it's completely irrelevant right now. Okay, it's irrelevant. It was all peer pressure, people, making fun of me that I have Tic Tac teeth, Bugs Bunny teeth, whatnot. I don't give a shit anymore. As it is, I can pull it. Was gorgeous, gorgeous Australian, woman. Do I don't need to wear braces to do that. So I mean, it's irrelevant really. Cave Crusher, read books and throw the TV away and limit social media. Exactly. Okay. Spend your time on teaching topics, like topics that teach you, how to build wealth and, plan for your future, Okay. Plan for your future. That's what you need to spend your time on. Educate yourself, how to improve your life and the life of others and people that look like you. Okay, that's what you need to be reading. Okay. And it all starts with knowing thyself. Okay, knowing your history, and yeah, if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. Basically, you don't know where you're going. Abe produces life, and you're gonna smile. That's my smile. Yeah, I still have a good smile. People here in Australia are jealous of my smile because when I smile, I show a lot of my teeth. But yeah, that's about it. Double I, like in Chicago, black youth are killing each other with guns, yet it's the white man who wins. Exactly. Okay, they put the guns in the neighborhood, but then nobody is asking you to take the guns. Okay, don't take the guns. Leave them there, or call the police to come pick up the guns. Don't touch it. Don't pick up the guns and go shoot somebody that looks like you. So they do that. They plant the drugs in the communities, but then they're not asking you to use the drugs. But then anyway, family, any more questions in the stream before I close out? Producers live in Uganda. Got to go, but I can still only see 3 thumbs up. Thumbs up, everyone. Say teeth like a British. Oh, you say thief like a British Londoner, right? Okay. Um, maybe because I'm Australian. Yeah. Um, those guns have white people at the top controlling and funding it. Yeah, that's what they do, right? Yeah, especially when you talk about the NSA, the National Rifle, NRA, sorry, NRA, the National Rifle Association, right? Producers live again. Glad to find you too, family. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you for joining the stream. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell for notification whenever I come on live. Okay, I appreciate your contribution. Yeah, I really appreciate all of your contribution. Double I. Okay, we need to do a stream double I. Okay, so we talk about Australia, right? NRA is an evil organization. Yes, it is. Yeah. Did you see the Al Jazeera documentary on NRA? The one they were trying to promote. Was it the one they exposed? What was that redhead lady? What's her name? I kind of forget her name now. Come on. What's her name, family? What's her name, double I? That redhead lady. She's so evil. Pauline Hanson. That's her. Pauline Hanson. I was not gonna remember her name. My mind is tired now. Yeah, Pauline Hanson. Okay, was that the documentary on Pauline Hanson? They had in camera, and then the NRA was trying to sell guns in Australia, right? Australia does not tolerate guns. Australia has a very tough gun ownership laws. Okay, that's why the New Zealand massacre happened where it did. New Zealand didn't have a strict gun law like Australia does. So yeah, I saw a bit of that documentary. Okay, I saw that, but then people have forgotten, right? It phased away. Okay, people easily forget. People easily forget. Yeah, and still people voted for Pauline Hanson. Okay, Pauline Hanson's popularity has increased. Okay, so which is very scary. Okay, which is very scary. Her popularity was she won about 8% of the vote in the last election, and now she's won like 13% in the current the just recent election. So I mean, it's a worry. Okay, it's a worry. Her rhetoric is appealing to some. Okay. Especially we Africans easily forget and easily forgive. The forgive bit, yeah, the forgive bit is the most annoying bit. Okay, we easily forgive. It's just so crazy, so crazy. The forget bit, I think the forget bit is more like chronic. It's a disease. It's psychological. Yeah, they have not forgiven. They have not forgotten. They haven't asked you to forgive, but you be quick to forgive them. Till date, the US hasn't apologized to Africa for slave trade. They haven't. The US government haven't apologized. And you consider the US government as your best friend? Any African country that regards the US as an ally is a fool. Is a fool. It's a fool. The US sat back. The US sat back when Portugal was killing people in Angola. When the Portuguese were murdering Angolans left and right. Okay, till the Angolans started fighting for freedom. Okay, Portugal sent the army to fight the Africans, and guess what? It was Russia, it was Cuba that sent their army to counter Portuguese army, and Angola prevailed. 8,000 Cuban soldiers died. 8,000 Cuban soldiers died to liberate Angola from Portugal. Do you know this history? Do you know this history? I guess many people don't know this history, right? The US Army or the US government, which demonizes Cuba so much, demonizes Cuba. Okay, it was Cuba that came to the aid of Angola. All right, Cuba came to the aid of Angola. So I mean, the US is not your friend. Look at Liberia. I said this before in the previous stream. Liberia, when Liberia was in the Civil War, the US brought their Hercules helicopters and flew away their US citizens and left Liberians to kill themselves. Okay, same thing in Rwanda. So if you think the Europeans are your friends, if you think the US is your friend, if you think Canada is your friend, you're lying to yourself. You're being a fool. Cuba came to the aid of Ethiopia as well in the 70s. That's right. Okay, those are family. Okay, those are family. Fidel Castro said it. Okay, Africa is our homeland. Even I like the former president of Brazil. His name is Da Silva. Okay, Da Silva. I forgot. Is it Nona Da Silva? No, I forgot. His name. But his last name is something Da Silva. Okay, right. They were all very, very Pan-African. Very, very Pan-African. Right. So yeah, I hope they can also join the African Union. Okay, we hope we can have Cuba join the African Union. We can have, I think Haiti is going to be part of the African Union if I'm not mistaken. We're gonna have Jamaica. We're gonna have all the Caribbean, Guyana. Have Mexico, even if they want to join. We're gonna have even Argentina if they want to join. We're gonna have, because all those places, descendants of African people, right? Descendants of African people. Okay, family. I will end the stream here. Okay. Leave the rest for next time. Thank you all for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. I noticed you subscribe. Producers Live in Uganda. Okay, you are. I'll check you out right now. You have 204 subscribers. Okay, I'll be a 205th subscriber. So I've just subscribed to you as well. Okay, thank you all for participating. And until next time, Chiefdryno signing out. Peace out. Okay, love one another. In unity, okay, we will build Africa. In unity we stand. Okay, divided we fall. Okay, peace to Sudan. Okay, peace to Sudan. Hashtag peace to Sudan. Hashtag civilian civilian rule in Sudan. Okay. Hashtag African Union. Hashtag Pan-Africanism. Hashtag family. All right, family. Peace. I'm out. Okay. Peace. I'm out.